hello, and welcome to yet another Q&A Thursday where I'm your host, Dane Hennon, and to my right, Levi Gates.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm here.
He is here in the room, in the studio.
So's Dane. Last Thursday, we didn't have him here.
Finally, we have all three. Speaking
been
of
here
the third,
entire time.
Anthony Fisher, to my left.
Yeah, been here.
How's it going?
Haven't left. Been
Feels
here
good to be back.
for months.
Be back in the studio.
So, we're
consistently.
Getting this stuff done. It's been amazing. I know Dane feels the same way. It's just good to get the whole gang back.
Yeah, no, I love that we're all back here, that we're all in good health at the moment, hopefully.
Absolutely.
So, everything's good. Now, guys, housekeeping. We always got to do this at the top of the show.
Yeah.
What are we talking about here in TRC land? What's going on?
Yeah, a little bit of brushing, right?
Yeah.
A little bit of scrubbing, right? Kind of get on your hands and knees, put on your gloves, get in there to the crevices, right? Preferably with a Detail Factory brush. Yeah. So, housekeeping things. So we've been shooting some content and some videos for a few upcoming products, which is really exciting, right? So I mentioned before we're planning on some Amazon exclusive stuff coming up here pretty soon. We're hoping by the beginning of February, which is really fun. And then we were also shooting some content you guys already know the last polish, right? The final polish.
The last polish.
Are we referring to as the last polish?
It's called the last polish.
It's called the last, right? Not the final polish.
Just like the last cut, the last polish.
Okay, so it's called the last polish.
That's what it says on the bottle.
Are you sure? Is it called the final
just
polish?
Just polish the whole car with it.
Okay. So if you guys follow Jace Price of The Last Detail, then you'll know that he released the last polish.
Great shot.
Are you sure it's the last polish?
Yeah.
What the heck? Was that planned? Was that planned to make me feel bad?
Oh, that's
so he released the last polish here within the last about week and a half.
Yeah.
And so we are planning on obviously distributing it. That is going to be the plan. And we have been doing a lot of testing, and we are actually part of the testing phase for that product. So Jace kind of kept us in the loop, setting out different variations of the product over the last several
different variants, I believe, is how you call those.
Variations.
But variations on a theme.
Yeah. Are you messing with me right now?
I was.
So, sending out different versions.
Alpha, a beta.
Anyways.
Delta.
Sorry. Okay, yeah.
Anyways,
different variations of this polish, and we were testing it, and there was a couple times where we were like, we wish I had a little bit better wipe off here, and just kind of giving him some feedback, and it was really cool because I had Chris
Larson here that day,
who actually stepped in with me, and we both polished on a hood together, and kind of gave our feedback and kind of talked about it, and then talked to Jace about it, and after another month, or no, it's been several months since then. 3 months.
It's been about 3 months.
3 months. He finally, came to a final conclusion on the formula, and so we have a bottle here that we've been playing with. It's very similar to what we were used to, of course, and we were polishing.
I'd say it is gorgeous.
We were polishing Levi was polishing a Thunderbird this morning. Can't say what Thunderbird, but just the
one that I've been working on for a while. We brought it into the studio. It's getting cleaned up.
I really appreciate you
heads
guys
to the show. Not yours, Dane.
Sorry, Dane.
It's not yours.
Does that change the fact that I appreciate you guys working on it?
Thanks. Well,
it doesn't.
Also, it might be mine.
No, it's not. So it's
like
insane.
it is a 60 Thunderbird.
There aren't many of those around.
Well, there's two here at Rag Company.
Well, I guess there's two things that's insane. The car is insane, but the polish is insane.
The polish is insane. I loved it because today I was able to, just like the last cut, pad dependent. So I could bring up, if I wanted a little more cut, I could change the pad. If I wanted to really get that jeweling, get that finish, I could soften the pad up and hit it. And that was really cool to just add another degree of versatility, but still have that innate ability to just get the job done. So beautiful, beautiful stuff.
It's a TLC way.
Well, and I guess to make things clear for people and easy to understand, so there was the last cut, right? The original compound, the last cut compound. It's called a compounding glaze, right? Don't pay attention to the name glaze in there. Just pay attention to the name compound. And that was a pad-dependent cut compound that obviously won us over at TRC. I mean, we got on into it to where, really it had just been released, and we started distributing it, and, hopefully not just because of us, but because of everybody else around the world and YouTubers, that became one of the go-to compounds in this industry, right? It's insane how many people have a bottle of Last Cut that they use as their go-to compound,
well,
right?
and how many chemists I've talked to that are all like,
that's the standard.
That's the standard.
That's
now.
the standard.
Like to get to that, to get to the Last Cut, like to have their compound or their polish equal.
Yeah.
To that's become the standard because
it was
zero
all
dust,
word of mouth. That
easy
was the
wipe
beauty
off,
of it.
and that pad dependency.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, and giving credit where credit's due. I mean, Brian Prescott is who turned me on to that.
Yeah.
But he had the product for I think a couple weeks or
a little while.
Owner's Pride.
Owner's Pride. But Brian had it for a couple weeks, and I was working on that 65 Shelby GT350, and I was having some issues with just kind of pad buildup with using McGuire's M205, and I was having pad buildup. I wasn't having a good wipe off with it. I feel like heat was fighting against me on that particular project, and so I picked up that bottle from him. He basically just let me borrow it, and I fell in love with it, and then we continued to play with it more and more in different scenarios, and it was like, dude, this stuff is it. And so, like Levi said, it's become a new standard in which many companies are comparing their compounds to, because it is, in fact, just that good. So that was the original compound, right?
Yeah.
Pad dependent cut. It finished beautifully. It had great cutting ability.
Borderline finished like a polish in many cases.
It did finish like a polish.
Yeah,
the
results were amazing.
It's fan-freaking-tastic. And even with all of the new compounds and a lot of the reformulations, a lot of the existing compounds in the last couple of years, they still don't quite add up to the original Last Cut, right? And then the Last Cut Plus came out, and that was about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And maybe it was actually about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half. But the Last Cut Plus
Time
came
is
out.
hard.
And the Last Cut Plus was designed to be a heavier cutter that could get through gel coat, right, which is crazy. That worked best on a rotary and worked best at high speed. So the idea behind the Plus product was faster correcting ability on a higher speed setting, meaning that you could jump in at a speed of 5 or 6 right off the bat, face no dusting issues, face no slinging issues, or anything that you would have with other compounds. And a lot of people that love the Last Cut actually just switched straight over to Last Cut Plus because they found that they needed the more cutting ability, and they just liked it.
And they liked that it finished.
And it finished as well, too. So it was kind of cool having both those options there. And then everybody said, well, what about a polish? What about a final finishing polish?
And in reality, we all thought, well, you can polish everything finishes.
The Last Cut compound
there's
on its
not
own
really
was
there's
so
not really
good
a need for the
at doing
polish.
that.
Yeah.
And then we tried our sample, and we're like, okay, I can see where this is going. And I'll tell you, today, really getting to play with an entire car, and a car that I know really well, and I know the clear coat on.
You sanded it.
Well, I did sand it, but it was polished. It was finished when it left my shop, and I used Last Cut on that entire car.
Yeah.
Cutting it out, and so to see it after it's been touched, it's been pushed, it's been worked on a little bit. It had some light scratching, just light stuff. To use the last polish and a soft pad, I was amazed that it was getting those fine scratches out, and it was really bringing out some gloss and bringing out that jeweling that you need in some instances for some of these cars.
For a car like that, where it's going to be a show car,
dude, it is
show car with like 15 coats of clear.
Yeah.
Dude, it is absolutely jeweling, though. I mean, like it's
crazy.
So in terms of like cutting ability, the last polish, it's not a heavy cutter. It's not. I wouldn't even call it a cutter. I would call it an absolute finishing polish. A finishing polish to a jeweling polish.
I put an orange pad on it. Orange HDO.
Yeah, you can one step
to
with
kick
it if
it
you
up.
wanted to do that.
And I went from a white Rupes to a yellow Rupes, and I played with a couple different pads on this car, and I was able to step up and go swap pads, put a little product on there, bring the speed up a little bit, light pressure.
What did you end up liking? The pad that you like the most?
Honestly, the Rupes yellow pad worked the best.
The Rupes.
It just worked great.
There we go. Very nice.
Always seems to be the answer. So here's actually the bottle. Glenn brought it out for us. So the final polish. I told you it's called the final polish.
All right.
You were messing with me. So
final polish.
The final polish. The last polish. Whatever you want to call it. So The wipe off is fantastic. The experience is great. The working time is insane. So this will be coming to the Rad Company hopefully very, very soon. I know that John's working on the order right now to get this in, and hopefully you guys buy it from us. If you guys were turned on to the last cut, hopefully you guys pick it up from us, and we're really excited. So we'll see what. We'll see what kind of quantities people like the product in, right? Because at first it's going to be in a 16 and 30 ounce size. Yeah. But down the road, we may eventually bring on a gallon size if Jace decides to make that. But super, dude. It's exciting, not just for the fact that it is another fantastic polish that doesn't have trim staining issues.
Yeah, it doesn't stain any trim.
That can be used to plastic polish. It can be used plastic, to polish chrome. All those different types of, different substrates. But what I like about it is that this gives me another option for when hyper polish isn't doing it, or hyper polish isn't giving me the result I'm looking for, right? So really, this is going to replace hyper polish for me within my own situations, right? In my lineup, and it makes it easy, man. I go from the Last Cut Compound or Last Cut Plus straight to this, and it's just a 2-part system, and I use whatever the heck pad I need for the job.
No, and I'm excited about it. Also, so that way you're knowledgeable and just in case when things happen and arrive, make sure you guys are subscribed to the details newsletter at theradcompany.com. If you haven't, you need to, and if you are subscribed,
then you know why.
Make sure you check your emails specifically today and tomorrow, because there might be something in it for those of you that did subscribe. So
I think the scent on this is the red licorice.
Ooh, very nice.
Can you smell that? Can you verify that is red licorice? Because the other Last Cuts do have a smell to them. The original Last Cut has
it's that red vine.
Red vine. So basically, you combine a little bit of that coconut from the Last Cut original, right? Finish it out with that, with that little bit of that,
and maybe
red
have red vine in your mouth.
Ooh.
Don't dip it in
coconut and red
Don't
vine.
dip it,
That's a fun
but just have it in your mouth while you're working.
Well, so I know we're still loading up some questions here, but I have one question for people that are watching right now.
Yeah.
We were talking about this literally minutes before.
Minutes.
So I how do I say this? I noticed that Dane is a creature of comfort, or a comfort of creature, however you'd like to put it.
Yeah, he's a creature
of habit.
He's a creature of habit
and comfort. But it's comfort and comfort.
Yeah, true.
It's a 2-in-1.
Right.
So
I'm habit forming.
I noticed that Dane enjoys eating lunch in his car, in his vehicles, right? Not just any car. It's just his vehicles specifically, not one specific one.
Not even so much eating lunch. Dane has routines. When he gets into a vehicle.
Correct.
That he does.
Well,
but he has a specific routine for eating.
Right? So so the eating experience in his vehicles is something unique to himself that I haven't really seen with anybody else before.
Nor I.
What I want to know is how many of you enjoy eating in your vehicles, right? Even though I'm talking to detailers here, how many people enjoy eating in their vehicles, or opt to eat in their vehicles during their lunch time?
Yeah, they turn their vehicle not from because there's some we've got employees here.
Yeah,
they'll go out and sit in their car and eat.
Because Dane's not alone. We have employees that do that all the time.
There's tons of employees that'll be out there eating. But I know that they're just kind of eating. They're listening to the radio, or they're just kind of talking on the phone. They're not.
Yeah.
But when you go by Dane's,
he's
got the curtains drawn. He's got ambiance. Sounds like an action movie sometimes, maybe a podcast. Sounds like there's stuff going on. And then Dane reiterated a little bit of some of the things that he does.
Well, they didn't know how deep I take this stuff.
And we're gonna dive into this here in just a little bit, but I just want to get the question out there.
Yeah.
Do you eat in your car in a lunch situation? Or if you do eat in your car, right, do you like to set up like a home base, like a comfort area to where you can comfortably eat, watch a show on your phone mount or whatever it may be? Or is that not even, or is that not a thing?
Because I know the sort of audience we have, and I know the thoughts that are immediately running through most of these detailers' heads is, eating is banned in our cars. Nobody can eat in the cars.
No. Detailers are different.
Oh, there's some guys who are just like, you're not allowed to eat
professional
in your
detailers
car.
The hobbyists
don't clean their own
the
cars.
enthusiasts.
Hobbyists do.
I am going to throw
professional
this out
detailers
there
could care less.
and say, you're right about that.
They're not going to clean their
the
car.
enthusiast hobbyist guys take it almost like more extreme, not more seriously, but more extreme in their countermeasures and stuff. than the pros do, because the pros just understand the world is going to do what the world does.
Well, I think that just comes down to the fact that a detailer that's probably driving his car, the detailer still looks at his car like a car, whereas the enthusiast or the hobbyist looks at his car as his pride and joy, right? It's his everything, right?
Well, I heard recently on a podcast with Matt Farah and Jason Kemmie where they talk about your car is your costume. It's basically that thing that, depending on the kind of personality you have and you want to project that, your vehicle says a lot to the world about who you are, or what your choices are, or the kind of decisions you make, that kind of stuff. And it presents, some people look at that car and immediately go, oh, that guy's a insert blank here, or a positive thing. It could be any number of things. But when it comes to eating in your car, there are different types of eating in your car. I just want to stress that, because some people are just like crummy, messy everywhere. And of course, that's what detailers are picturing. And they're just like, oh my God. And it's just a mess everywhere. All the time, these people are disgusting. They leave
Dane
wrappers.
only eats loose meat sandwiches in his car.
Dane, I know you're getting really worked up right now. But
I get worked up because I don't want people thinking I'm some kind of messy slob.
I don't think anybody's judging you, right? But I will say that there is absolutely cross-contamination. When you eat a fry and you touch your steering wheel, it's grease. The grease attaches to the leather.
I will just put it out there so people understand. I would eat in my car when I worked at a place, but I like to do something else while in my car eating.
Well, you eat things that are mobile.
I am
sandwiches.
a very mobile
You're a man
eater.
on the move.
Yeah.
Everything you do,
I like driving and I
that.
like eating at the same time.
Yeah, but you're eating things that are pre-packed for that purpose.
Correct. So that's what I do. I'm always like, I'll go hit the drive-thru. Like today, went to the drive-thru, grabbed some food. I'm eating it in the car while I'm driving, sitting at a light. When I get at a light, I unwrap whatever I need to get, and then I'm ready to rock. When we're driving back from Utah, my wife is handing me In-N-Out burgers,
that stuff presents an interesting situation.
I'm knocking out
to me.
Three
people who eat on the move,
boom, boom, boom,
at least twice as likely to drop something and not realize it, and then it surprises them later.
Are you saying that Levi is the kind of guy that would surprise himself and get into an accident? Because I don't think that's true.
Why would we think that? Okay,
no,
so my main
I've
point
never
here,
gotten in an accident while eating. If
before somebody who I know, I see your brains, your gears are turning. I'm pleading with you. Pleading with you. Do not think I'm a messy slob who eats in their car and creates a mess. I am meticulous in how I handle the situation. As soon as I follow up, no wrappers stay in my car after the next point. Correct. I stop and there's a garbage can present, it's out of my car.
There's no wrappers in my cars either. I pull
but
all
I
that
do not
stuff
let
out.
that stuff sit.
I don't either.
Detailers oftentimes experience the cars from people who leave things in their car.
Correct.
And they wind up under seats and all this kind of stuff. I'm not one of those people. So do not lump me in with it.
So would you be the kind of guy with a VIP build, right, that would have like a dedicated rear eating area
like a table,
in the back seat?
Like a fold-down table?
I can see Dane.
I would buy a cheap used
I know what we should get
Jaguar XJ Vaden Plus with the tray tables that fold down in the back, just so he could have a mobile lunch station. I would be okay with that.
I could just see Dane, the kind of guy who goes through the drive-thru, gets his food, right? Goes and pulls into the parking lot and parks, right?
And then pulls out.
And then grabs his bag, gets out of the car, walks out, opens the back door, sits in there, right? And then closes the blind, turns on his back headrest TV, right? Pulls his drink tray with his ice and his side thing, and then adds ice.
If anyone here has a early 90s Toyota Century for sale, I'm interested. Just let me know.
It's Dane's mobile eating
No,
solution.
I can see that. So I can see that. The other thing, I've been seeing it cruising around on Amazon. It's a steering wheel attachment.
Oh, it's those freaking tray tables that they attach.
I don't do that. Slide under your steering wheel and it's a tabletop.
Oh my God.
So now you have the table spot. It also comes with a mount so you can hold on to your phone.
It's been 20 minutes and we haven't answered a single question.
I have to get this thought out, but I can also see Dane being the kind of guy that gets into the back seat of his build, right? Closes the curtains to enjoy some nice quiet time on his own,
right?
Only to hear his front door open and then somebody get inside and start driving off. Hey, what are you doing? Stealing your car? What are you doing back there? I'm eating in peace.
Not anymore, you're not.
I'm watching Doug DeMuro and I'm trying to enjoy my time.
Yeah. No, I could see that. So, I was always the guy. I couldn't go sit in the parking lot because when I worked, Dane, when I worked at Micron for a year, I would go drive because I just needed to get away.
Well, in that area, there's a lot of roads near there.
Yeah, but also you need to get away. Yeah. You can't just sit in that parking lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's depressing. No, that parking lot for me was depressing.
So the outside world doesn't exist to me.
But that's the thing.
So,
I wouldn't even do that. Like, I would just go and sit somewhere outside and eat.
Right. So, but then, if I was at when I was managing detail shops, if I was in the car, parked in the parking lot, they would come harass me. My employees would come harass me, and they'd be like, hey, can I get this done? Can I do that? They wouldn't leave you alone. So I had to leave. I had to disappear. I had to get away. So
I'm sorry, Harley. This is what happens.
Thank you, Harley.
Get out of here.
Yeah,
we don't want you anyway. So sorry.
So point is, that's why I've learned to eat on the run or go do other things while I enjoy. So, Anthony, you just don't eat in a car, period.
No, I've had too many bad experiences, and I don't want to mess with it.
Maybe a morning Pop-Tart.
Like, I have a Pop-Tart in the truck, right? Mm-hmm. That's about as far as I'll go.
Okay.
This is a subject best discussed on the normal podcast we do. This is a Q&A where we answer your detailing questions.
Apparently. So,
and it's a terrible one at that.
People,
you've been warned.
Here we go. We'll get to answering some questions, but we wanted you guys to be able to have a little say in this.
Tell us what you do.
Build some lore.
I absolutely love this conversation, and I want y'all to have it in the comments and present it back to us so that we can answer some questions maybe relevant to it. But I also understand people are dying to have their question about which polish is better than what other polish.
Happy Friday Eve, best part of the work week, with Dan Pfeiffer following right up with a good afternoon and a word up from Frozen, Minnesota. It's the best day of the week. Happy Friday Eve, TRC crew. Looking forward to winter wash vehicles. And then Alex Duas. Happy Friday Eve, TRC. Great live yesterday. 3 lives in 1 week. What in the world do we do to deserve this? Haha.
I think there's some people asking what they did to deserve this conversation.
Umberto saying hello, TRC team, again for a nice weekend. Yeah.
Yes.
Mike Castaldo saying hello from down here in 10-degree weather, Texas.
Yikes.
Holy cow, it's cold. And then our very own Mike C saying, hey guys, hope all is well. Thanks very much for the video yesterday. You're welcome, man.
You're welcome.
Tim Pierce, what is your best drying towel? I like the one I can fold and use instead of putting the entire towel on the surface and pulling it towards me. Tim, the medium-sized liquidator.
No, or the Twistress, too.
Or the Twistress.
Double Twistress.
The double Twistress is a perfect size.
And really doing that.
Perfect size towel. So,
Hans Closen says, sup whoop. I might fall asleep with this relaxing tune, though. Ooh, night. Oh, he might. I thought he said night. I'm like, we've already lost him. He's already sleeping.
Yeah. No, that's part of the fun, though. But, guys, there's lots of places where you'll just get a straight answer, straightforward. The whole point of coming to us is that you get some more. You get some meat on those bones. It's not just a typical rickety, straightforward, just, here you go.
And you can eat those
we'll try and make it more
car
interesting than that.
After you're done.
So, for those of you who stick around and know what you're getting.
Brian Vlog says, hello, everyone. And we got K9P13 with a thumbs up.
Take this.
Ooh, it's okay. We got Jimmy Moto coming in hot with hello from Detroit, looking for advice on an aggressive wash pre-rinse for some disgusting used cars I've been assigned. Aggressive wash pre-rinse. So if it was me, I'd probably pre-rinse with something like Green Star. You can dilute it 10-to-1 for anything that's really gross. But if you, I guess, would like to, if you, depending on your budget and what you can pick up, Super Foam from Coach Kemmie would be a great pre-soak, pre-rinse foam that is higher alkaline based and is enjoyable, right? I think that's the biggest thing. If you're looking for something that's just, nitty gritty and will get the job done, Power Clean, Green Star, all those will be able to break that stuff down and are absolutely safe on clear coat and exteriors. But if you're looking for something, again, something more therapeutic and enjoyable, go with that Super Foam from Kosh. Dino says, hello, TRC. I just want to wish you all a nice end of the week.
Thanks,
Can you
Dino.
guys repeat, how did you make that? Foam Pro 12 to a more... Dino, I don't know. That last part of that question, I don't know how it just kind of did it on its own.
It's like you're blanking in real time.
Not true.
I'm sure you'll remember later.
I'm sure it'll come to me later. Post Sentinel says, hey guys, happy Friday Eve.
Happy Friday Eve, right back at you.
Here, hit me with this one, Dane.
Delphine. Hey y'all, I finally have a G-Technic retailer in my country. Now if I want ceramic on my 4 years old car, my paint and plastics will need some work beforehand. What G-Technic ceramic do you recommend? So which coating?
For paint and plastics, if you want to go plastics, you can hit it with C4. If you want to go paint, go CSL and XO. You can use CSL and XO on the other plastics as well, but they won't have the darkening effect that C4 will have. So it's just up to you, though. If you want to coat your plastics, if you feel like you need it, I'm not the biggest fan of coating plastics. I like just coating paint and then leaving the pores of the plastic open for refinishing using solution finish and bringing that back to life every year or two. That's kind of my thing, but totally up to you though. C4, CSL, and XO. William Nuetz says looking for suggestions on car wash contaminant mat for my garage. Containment mat.
Yeah.
Check out Detail Plus. Right. So we got ours from.
That's like our high end one.
Keith
like
Duplessis. It's very high end. It's very nice. We haven't had it rip or tear or anything, and
super durable.
With plenty of abuse that we put it through.
You slip the pool noodles in the side to create the barriers, but you can move them out depending on what you need.
I mean, ours is pretty industrial, though, so it depends on how industrial you want to go. But like I said, Detail Plus makes a really, really good one.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's probably other better mobile options out there, but maybe
something you could stick out like on a roadway next to a house or something if you're like mobile.
Yeah. Maybe if somebody can chime in on the comments on a good mat they recommend for maybe mobile use. Dan Pfeiffer says, I can't unsee that photo. Yikes. Me either.
Oh, boy.
And then Alex says, I got to catch this live a bit later. Take care. Oh, Alex, you're missing
Alex,
all
we
the
hope
fun.
you come back later. You missed all the fun, but...
Yes. Levi is back in action and ready to party.
Weird things where like my wife called and my mother-in-law called back to back.
Yeah. So it looked like an emergency.
And so I was like, "Is this an emergency?" And so I called my wife. She didn't answer. But then I called my mother-in-law, and she's like, "Oh, sorry, did I call you?" And
oh
I'm
no,
like,
so it's a butt
yes.
dial?
And she goes, "Oh, no." So
where's the flour in the house?
Yeah, it's literally what it's like. But
Michael Crumb says, "What's up, guys?" And then David Cervantes says, "What's up, guys? In a bit of a really sticky situation, I'm running tight on cash and need to make a few bucks fast. Any ideas?"
David, do you have a space that you can work in? Do you have like a garage? One thing you could offer right now, I know it's cold, I know it's not fun, but you could literally just put a Facebook post up and say, "Hey, I got some free time this weekend," or whatever, and say, "Hey, I'm looking I set up a special." Create a special for yourself and say, "Hey, I'm just doing $150 wash and vax with a bead maker or CTV3 on the car, get a winter prep, or midwinter special or something." And you'll be surprised, especially when you put on Facebook, you'll be surprised at how many of your friends will go like, "Oh man, holy cow, I want to get my wife's car. I want to do that." And if it's something you can knock out in like an hour or two, then you can do that. And maybe you set it up where you can bust out, a bunch in a day or two.
Yeah.
And it's a good way to do it. I've done that a couple times and it works really well.
Yeah. Well, I would do so. That'd be one option, right? I would
sell blood.
You can also do
I was
the
going to
same.
say the plasma donation. Nick mentioned in my head there, but yes, that was
you could do
something that people tend to.
Or if like you want to do knock out some headlight restoration jobs, right?
Headlights.
You put out a feeler out there, and you can say, "Hey, I'm doing just say, hey, guys, I'm doing a special today, like in today only, right? Or on a
this
certain
weekend
day,
on Saturday,
weekend. Say on Saturday, this location, right? Whether you want to do it mobile or you want to do it if you have a generator or whatever you want to do. Basically, book it every other hour or every hour, depending on how fast you think you can go, right? Seriously, car pulls up, wipe it clean, maybe some rinseless wash or something, and then jump either straight into a polish or take some 3,000 grit Tri-Zac.
Yep.
Bam, tape off that area. Mow it down really quick.
Yeah.
Hit it really quick.
That's a good one, yeah.
Get it polished up, throw on a sealant, and send them on their way. And then, bam, have another car lined up ready to go right after that.
Yep.
I mean, you can charge $30, $50, whatever you want to charge, right? And I think you'd be surprised how many people would jump on something like that.
Just make sure it's worth your time. You want to make sure you allocate
if it's
the
in
right
especially intervals. In your friends group.
Yeah.
You'd be amazed at how many people would want to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I
People
mean,
jump at that.
Yeah,
especially if you put it like, "Hey guys, I'm just trying to make some money quickly. I need to make a few bucks."
Some people like it better when they know they're helping a friend.
As long as you say that, like, "Hey guys, I need some help here. I'm trying to make a few bucks for whatever."
Yeah.
Like, I'm offering this. Tons of people
they're
are more willing to do that rather than just give you money. Yeah, because they're like, "Oh, I'm getting something in exchange."
Yeah.
Heck yeah, man, I want to help you out. So I do that. I had friends who were trying to get pregnant, and they were trying to raise money for their in vitro, and they did that. They did T-shirts.
Sure. Yeah.
He worked at a T-shirt shop, and they just made some shirts, and they said, "This is the shirt. We're selling them for $10 a shirt, and we're going to raise some money.
Just know you're supporting this future
and this
family.
Is what it's going for. And if you want to buy this shirt," and people were buying 10, 12 shirts at a time to give them $100, and they're like,
sure.
So as long as someone's getting something and they know the reason, it's pretty good, man.
Yeah.
So you can do that. It works out.
Transparency goes a long way.
Neil White says, "Hey TRC, thanks again for yesterday's awesome color chip repair live stream.
Yeah,
Glad
wasn't
you
that a
enjoyed
fun
it, Neil."
surprise, guys?
Yo, girl. Hello, TRC crew. Hope you're all having a great day.
We are now.
Thank you. Decon ordered 2 Dr. Color Chip kits for my wife's car and my truck after watching the video last night. Thanks for the tips. Yeah.
Hopefully you told them that you saw it from us.
Yeah, make sure you let them know.
Told them it
What
came.
we're trying to do is we're trying to
came from
convert
us.
the Dr. Color Chip guys to carrying our Pearl towels.
Yeah,
we've been working on it
feeling too
for
subtle
a
about
while. They know us. Tony and those guys
They know
over
us.
there.
I've been
They're
trying to convince them, like, guys, you need Pearl weaves, and they're like, yeah, but the cost and the pearls. I'm like, trust me, trust me, guys.
So
and,
if you feel like you like us enough to do us a solid, and you have a moment to send an email saying, "Hey, I'm a customer or a potential customer, and I'd like to encourage you to carry these towels I prefer using with your system."
Yeah.
That's a nice way to kind of put a little push.
is that a stab? Would you? Is that a
It's
stabbing
a little
motion?
push. I'm using my knuckles.
Feels
You
like
went like that.
Feels like
it's a little. It's a
went
little
like
push.
that.
feels like one of these where you've got a knife.
Poking stick.
I mean, hey, you interpret it how you're going to
twist it.
interpret it, but
Graham saying, "Afternoon, lads. Happy Friday Eve." What's going on, Graham? How are you, man? Thanks for tuning in yesterday.
Bam, thank you, Graham. All right.
Jacob Terry. So I've seen a lot of guys bash on doing dealer work. I personally do it and make decent money doing it. What are your thoughts on it? I did it for years. The key is to not get taken, advantage of by a dealership. Yeah. So you can build great relationships with dealerships. It's just knowing the right ones. And when I worked for a gentleman and he picked any dealership that would give us cars. And it was an absolute nightmare sometimes. And he would promise the world to them for no money.
And you were the one who had to deliver.
And I was the one that had to deal with it. So when I opened my shop, I picked and chose which dealerships I wanted to do because I had guys that were like, "Hey, come do my work." No, not going to do your cars. I had other guys that were like, I had one of my partners was like, "We need to do these guys' cars." And I said, "We are not doing their cars.
There's a reason no one else
There's a
is.
reason we're not doing their cars, and I'm not going to do them." "Well, they got a lot of cars." I don't care. I don't want their work. It's a hassle. So I picked the dealerships that I enjoyed doing. I picked the BMW dealership. Why? Tons of certified pre-owned. They sell more certified pre-owned BMWs
coming back
and lease returns.
Yeah.
Those cars are spotless.
Yeah.
They're easy to clean, fast, quick, no problem. I would do those all day. I did the Lexus dealership as well. I did the Land Rover, Volvo, Porsche, BMW, or Mercedes dealership because of that same reason. Because the cars are usually 90% of the time lease returns.
Yeah.
They're a higher end client, and it's a higher quality car. So they would charge, and I would set up retail work with the dealerships, with their service centers. So I love dealer work. The key is just not getting yourself stuck. So build your plan, know what you're putting into the car, know what you're going to do to the car, and don't try to promise the world. And if you are, make sure you charge for it. I had a dealership call me, a Honda dealership, and they said, I used to do their cars at $150, and it was okay, but it was pretty hit and miss because the cars weren't all that great sometimes, and it was a Honda dealership. They got a Pilot in, a fully loaded Pilot that a customer had for 6 months, and completely they used it as their car. They owned a car wash.
Okay.
It was a black Honda Pilot. They used it to test their car wash every time they changed the settings, but they never polished the car. That means they ran that car through about 5,000 washes in the 6 months that they had.
On black Honda paint.
On black Honda paint. Some of the softest paint there is. And when they brought it in and traded it in to get their next one, they brought it in. Here's our lead. We want to get this one. We wanted to do. My wife wants a different color. She doesn't like the black. They traded it in. They called and said, I think we have to repaint this.
Uh-huh.
And then they said, no, I think we could probably see if Levi could fix it. One of the guys said, I think Levi could fix it. So they called me up and said, we want you to fix it. Now, 4 years ago, I had done that car for them. I do cars for them for $150. Yeah. But now I own my own business. I have my own shop. So I went out and I said, well, if I got to do this and I got to do that, it's going to be $600.
Sure.
And they said, what? Well, we've never paid that. I said, what's your other plan? Painting the car?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Options look pretty clear to me.
That's cheaper than painting the car, and I'm only doing the outside. So let me see. Let me at least tackle it, because if it doesn't work for you guys, you're only out.
Yeah, I'm not forcing your hand here. It's your decision to make. So
we did it. It came out. They loved it, and they were like, "Holy cow! We didn't know a car could look this good." Yeah. And that's the key. They're used to the guys who are going to ham fist and hack job up a car.
Throw a bunch of filler in there.
A lot of them don't understand. And when you can bring it to them and say, this is it, the car's done, and you can make it work, then they know, and you determine your worth to them. So anyway, enjoy it, man. Neil White says, hey, Detail Dude says, hey guys, happy Friday Eve. Poets, will the last detail polishes become available for Europe? I can't get my hands on any of them right now.
Oh.
So
I believe in Europe, that's hard. I know that they're available in the UK for sure. Like I know Wax It sells the last detailing products, and I'm not sure if anybody else does. But
yeah, it's very hard to say. Jace is still kind of a one-man band. Him and his wife run this, and they're still kind of figuring out distribution and things like that on a grander scale for Europe and UK.
Well, and like with towels, it's easy for us to encourage our friends, overseas and stuff to carry, certain towels and things like that. But when it comes to chemicals, it does get a lot more complicated. As soon as you got to cross the water there's so many regulations and stuff. Yeah. That's all stuff
There's a lot of stuff that's got to get approved, too.
Not only on Jace's side, but also on the receiving
Well,
end
and each country's different.
And every country is different, and every product is going to differ based on the country it's going to. So they're going to be working at it.
Detail Dude says, I've always wondered, does the GSM of a towel determine how well it performs when drying, or is it more about the weave? Anthony, it's technically
performs when it's drying, or more about the weave. No, so basically the GSM, the density of the towel, could basically allow it to absorb more just because of the overall thickness of it. It's like the volume of it. So it could technically make it allow it to absorb more just because of just the overall weight of it.
But the weave,
the weave is a very important factor when it comes to drying. Just the way that the fiber is able to kind of pull up liquid and hold the liquid, right? And that's another big part of it, is how well can it hold it and immediately grab onto it without,
take for instance a 80-20 Chinese waffle weave.
So, that's where the blend. I guess the blend is also important too, right?
But an 80-20 Chinese waffle weave will technically outperform an 80-20. It will create more absorbency compared to an 80-20 all-purpose terry.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Because of the weave. Because of the way that, and it's dense. Technically, that towel is almost 500 GSM.
Correct. Whereas an all-purpose terry might only be 325 GSM. So it's kind of a combination of different factors. But I think a big takeaway too is definitely going to be the blend as well. And so 70-30 blend definitely being the most absorbent. If you had a 90-10 waffle, would it absorb some stuff? Yeah, some, but not all of it because of the low polyamide count.
Here's maybe a way to think of it, like filling a container, say a 2-liter bottle, or it could be a larger bottle. The GSM you can maybe think of as being a smaller, larger bottle at the other end, but it still has to pass through that neck, and that neck is your blend, essentially. Yeah. And so it acts like a bottleneck, so if you have a worse blend... If you got
a wide mouth bottle?
It'll eventually absorb it, possibly, but there's limits to that, because you can't force a certain volume of liquid through that until...
Well, and that's what makes the liquidator such a great towel, because it's the 70-30 blend.
Yeah.
But then the biggest thing is it is that weave. Those loops are much longer than those of the Twistress or the Twist and Shout. So you may go, oh, it's twist loop, just like those. Yeah. Well, it's different. It's a longer loop, meaning more surface area, more area to absorb liquid. So that, in that sense, has the best absorbency with the best weave possible to create the most.
Because then you got to figure out. I mean, there's no point in you trying to do all the math on it to figure out. Oh, if I have this less absorbent material, but I have more of it, ultimately I could hold more than this more absorbent but smaller,
correct,
denser volume item. But it's a game we all play and figure out. It's frustrating. But basically, if we say a drying towel is good, we're saying it for a reason. Like, we'll direct you the correct way to get the most satisfying conclusion rather than wasting your time somewhere else.
It is a combination. It's primarily the weave, but it is a combination of, on top of that, the actual GSM, not the GSM, but the blend. The blend plays a big role in that. And then the majority of GSMs is because drying towels are a higher GSM normally. Yeah. Martin, hello from Italia. Could you recommend a ceramic coating I can spray on wheel wells and undercarriages?
If it's a ceramic coating, you shouldn't be able to spray it.
No, you can. You can spray. Most of Modesta's line is sprayable through an airbrush.
Airbrush.
Oh, is it like an it's like an airsoft? Because my
it's
experience
an actual airbrush.
Okay. See, the reason I say that is there's so many products out there that claim to be a ceramic. It's just a ceramic like detailing spray or something.
It's like taking.
I think
you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. But you're taking CSL and you're putting it in an HVLP gun and you're spraying it on and then you're wiping it off. You can do that.
That is acceptable.
No, but that's
okay.
I think what he's talking about.
Okay,
ceramic coating I can spray on wheel wells and undercarriage. So
I'm simply
C4
trying to.
You could try.
Protect against somebody getting taken advantage of.
You have to ask. You have to reach out to G-Technic and ask them if it can be done in a airbrush, right? If it's sprayable. Because we haven't really tested that. We don't have a airbrush here that we use for coatings. That's just not something that we
apply it all by hand.
We apply everything by hand or with little applicators and tools. But I mean,
now I do note. Wheel wells and undercarriage. That's a little different. I was picturing somebody going on paint and then they're just spraying like a typical spray detail. It says it's ceramic. It's like. I'm not trying to insult anyone's intelligence. It's just there's so many people out there who get confused. I'm trying to protect you from getting taken advantage of.
Yeah. So Martin,
I want to make sure it's not that.
I would say Motorplast by Coach Kemmie on wheel wells and undercarriage actually does a really good job.
Yeah, and that's a different kind of animal.
Really.
I like it.
It's great stuff.
We have Aaron
G.
Says, I use O&R wash and wax weekly. Would that be suitable standalone of form of protection for paint and plastic and trim? Yeah, if you're using it weekly, you're going to constantly have protection there from the Carnauba in there, so you should be fine. Then Danny Zamudo says, to dilute any product, do you guys recommend tap or distilled water? Distilled water all the way for me, man. But I mean, tap water. Most people are using tap water.
Michael here does it every day.
I love distilled water for that kind of stuff. It just depends if you want to go buy gallons of it or if you have some on tap.
Yeah, so I've started buying gallons of distilled water just to have for the steamer.
Do you like it?
I do like it. But I've noticed that on some of my products that I need to dilute that are paint friendly, so some of the quick detailers and some of the waterless washes and things like that, if it's going on paint, then I'll use distilled water. If it's going on interior carpets, plastics, things like that, I don't dilute it. I'll use tap water for that. I use
tap water for any dressing that I'm diluting because it's a dressing, and especially if it's an exterior dressing.
Yeah.
I
could see it that way, yeah.
Yeah, if it's going on tires, I mean, why would I use distilled water on that?
Yeah,
right.
Use some tap water on there.
But it also depends too, because the chemistry of different chemicals are different, right? And so you would just think to yourself, right? Levi would dilute distilled on paint for the reason that if there was mineral content within that product or within that water that he's mixing with that product, if he misses a spot, right? Yeah. Even if the product is water based, right, and everything
still can make it through a sprayer and out.
Yeah,
a piece of sand,
that mineral might make it onto the paint, land onto the paint, and during a hot summer it could dry, and you could say, why can't I get the spot of this quick detailer off?
Well, and I'm on city water, and I don't have a filtration system in my house, so I don't have a softener, I don't have a filtration. It's literally straight out of the city water line. Yeah. So our city water actually has quite a bit of sand in it.
It does.
A lot of people don't know that. So our drinking water we have is filtered. But our main water for washing dishes and things like that, we have a lot of sand. So I have a pre-filter on my pressure washer to catch a lot of that sand before it hits the pressure washer, which helps protect my pressure washer motor because I'm not filling it full of sand every time. But I noticed that I do have to change out my filter, my little screens on my faucets. I have to clean those out and and it's literally
sand.
you unscrew them, and it's
gritty.
sand. It's just sand that has completely packed that through. So I got to clean that out, put it back in. I got to take the head off my faucet, replace that on my kitchen sink. There's a lot of things like that I noticed, and it's just full of sand.
Sand never hurt nobody, right?
But when I started doing that, I go, I better start grabbing some distilled, because if I'm filling up and diluting some of these waterless washes and things like that with sandy water, well, be on the safe side.
But I also think that it really depends on the chemistry too, because if the product has like silicone in it or something, there's certain things that will prevent the mineral. It negates the minerals.
Yes. Yeah.
It negates the minerals in the water. And I don't know the specifics in the form of chemistry, but based on the chemists that we've talked to, not all chemists use, depending on where they are in the world, not all of them use like a very, very purified form of water, right? Depending on their location in the world, their water may already be considered relatively pure. Yeah. And they use that, and they just say, that's my water, I'm mixing in my chemicals. And they run with it. And it works, right? And they've never had a complaint, because the rest of the, I guess, chemicals inside the...
So Dave Phillips has a great article on the PNS website. It's from a couple years ago, but it's on their blog post.
Does he talk about it?
Yeah, he talks about water and how water is key to chemical manufacture, and how their system for PNS and how they built it, and then why it's important. And so I'd recommend everybody go read that. It's on the PNS sales website. It's under blog, and it says like something about water or this, and it's from Dave. And it's it's like a 3 or 4 year old article, but it's a great article.
They use quality stuff over there, but I will say when we were over in the UK and we were talking to people at Waxstock and just kind of getting a lay of the land on how the chemicals are manufactured over there, we had asked them at that time, so I'm like, hey, so what do you guys use for like your DI water? Like, what do you guys use for this type of stuff, right? Is it reverse osmosis? Some of them said, we don't have that.
Our water already
city water is actually
our
pretty
city
good.
Our city water is pretty good. And I'm like, pretty good, or like good enough for chemicals?
What was their
like,
price
oh
per
no,
million?
It's really good, and they don't use anything like that over there, or not everywhere over there. But I'm just saying, with the particular people that we talked to said that wasn't necessary for their chemical brands.
In a very low ppm.
Yeah, we thought that was very interesting.
That's what I was asking.
Really amazing.
Very interesting to us.
Graham saying eating and drinking is banned in all of our cars.
See, I knew those comments were going to appear.
Ken Jeeper says, always quiet. He can watch videos and vape.
The man can.
Quality touch. Guys, the 98 Civic build is going great. What's the best primer to use? Going to rattle can the fenders and bumpers. Anthony.
Why are you asking me?
You're a rattle can
as a Civic owner. What would you say?
You just combine the two things, rattle canning and Civic, in the same sentence.
Yeah.
You just come to me with the stuff.
That's not Anthony. I don't know what it is.
Civic Anthony. That's what we call it.
Okay, it's going great. What's the best primer to use? Going to rattle can the fenders and bumpers. So I used the SEM flexible primer surfacer for all of my plastics, right? So whether it's a lip or whether it's a bumper, that's what I used for that. And then for the metal bits, from what I remember painting that, oh man, I can't remember what I used. I used another SEM. It wasn't a self-etching primer. It was a sandable, fillable primer. Oh, okay. I like the SEM paints for all the prep stuff. That was my favorite thing. I like the Spray Max stuff for my clear coat, the 2K clear, right? The Spray Max. And then I used whatever base coat I was mixed up in a can at my local mixing place. So anything SEM. I would say flexible surface primer for the flexible things, right? And that'll be your primer with your flex agents built in. That way you don't have to add an additional flex step to it. At least to my knowledge, and David Cervantes is inside here, so he'll be able to touch up on this. But for the metal, I think I just used a sandable, fillable automotive SEM primer.
I like a good sander filler primer.
Now, how long do you think a project like that would take? Would it take all day?
The other thing you want to do is if it's metal, you want to make sure you got a good metal etch primer on there, because you need that to bond.
Yeah.
Well,
it depends.
It's got a primer on it.
It depends. Is he sanding it and is he just sanding and reshooting that area, or is he starting with like literally nothing? But most of like the Civic, they all come like with a primer, like a base something on there.
Sure. Something on them. Yeah.
So it's an all day primer. But I still scuff that up and shoot primer over that.
Yeah.
Okay.
K9
yes.
up what are your thoughts on salt removers like Saltaway, Eastwood, etc. for those of us in the Rust Belt? Any experience with these kind of products, or which would you recommend? We actually don't have a lot of experience with salt removers.
It's more mag chloride and stuff over here.
We use a lot of magnesium chloride here, so for our stuff. So I don't really have anything like that. I would say, though, the biggest thing is just an old school detailer trick. You got to wash it off. You've got to wash it off. You've got to clarify that surface. So always use a good APC or degreaser. Spray those undercarriages. Get that stuff washed off. You can get a underbody sprayer. There's a lot of things that you need to get that salt off the surface. And if you can get that salt off the surface, that's all that really matters, because it can help prevent a lot of that.
Basically, salt on its own on a dry surface will not really do any damage, right? Especially if it's on the underside, right? If it's dry, like let's just say salt is just dry. There's nothing going on there, right? But once water hits it, right, that's when the corrosion will start to happen, starts breaking things down, right?
So if you're
now you have a mixture of salt and water sitting on there, working its way against you, right?
Yeah.
But if you rinse off the salt and just have water, that's going to be far better than...
Well, so when I was a kid, we used to go down to salt flats, and we'd drive on them and go to Speed Week and stuff.
Yeah.
And the whole time we were there for like 5 days. The car would sit. My dad would drive the Supra down, and we my favorite being a kid, seeing what that Supra could do on the salt, because
Brad Gates ripping gears.
Yeah, it's like 5 miles to the where you're going to park. So they let you in, and then it's a 5 mile straight shot, Dane.
Yep.
No speed limit.
Nope.
Have fun. Get down out. Wait till you get to the next spot. And so you'd run down, and so my dad would try and get the car. He'd be up 125, 140.
That's fun.
Sunroof, windows down, me and my dad.
You had a Mark II, right?
Yep. Nice. And so we get there, and the car would be full of salt. Fender wells filled. He would leave the salt on because it's summer, and we're there. We go back to the campground or whatever. He'd leave it on there, and then we would drive, and before we'd leave town, he would hit the car wash, and he would pull out the one, and he would spray all the salt off that he could and get it off, and then we'd drive to Boise, and when we get back to Boise, before we head home, he would spray and wash all that out as best he could and get underneath everything, and then when we get home, he'd put the car up on his jacks, and then he'd pull out his pressure washer, and he'd spray some degreaser on there, or Simple Green, and then he'd get his pressure washer out again, and he'd spray everything, just because he wanted to make sure there was no salt anywhere left on the car, because it looked like snow. It was clumped up in the fender wells, and it was caked on there, and so that's a copious amount. But you'd see cars that had spent their lives on the salt, like push trucks and stuff, that were just destroyed from rust. But it was because they would get wet. They'd be driven and wet and cold, dry, and wet and cold, and wet and dry.
Well, wet, and then the humidity too, and that's the other thing too. Humidity is a big part of it too, because I think that just the damp air, I mean, moist air is going to rust things. It's just that's how it works. Here we don't. It's so dry out.
Well, and you think like Salt Lake is an actual salt lake.
Yeah.
So there is that salt air. There is all that kind of stuff, and there's rust damage in that area.
Well, I'm imagining all these YouTubers that I see going out there, like, somebody saw another person do a video where they take their car out in the salt flats, like they're just discovering it for the first time. These guys go and blast out there, and then you never hear back if they actually cleaned it off afterwards. And you kind of wonder. Awesome, you're like, if I'm buying a car from this guy.
They said, that was awesome. I'm flying to Dubai tomorrow for 5 weeks, right? Nice. I'll see my car then. They get back. Car is still covered in salt, still looks awesome.
It's rained like 50 times.
I was like, I'm not worried about it. I'm like, wait. So that just sat there like,
Herbie Thompson. I was
go.
asked to detail a Harley. Any suggestions or tips to do a good job? Not an Anthony OCD level, though.
No, just have fun with it.
O&R. Honestly, O&R, Jersey bug scrubber, some towels.
O&R, if you decide to polish anything, just polish the tank up. I mean, don't get crazy with the metal. But yeah, O&R is your best bet. Polish, maybe. The tank is the biggest thing. To a motorcycle person who just wants it detailed,
it's the thing they look at the most. It's like a steering wheel.
It's
like a steering wheel or column. Like that's always the dirtiest part.
Yeah,
because it's
exterior and interior at the
polish
same
up
time.
The tank and probably the front fender if it's got a front fender, and that's what I would call it good. And then make sure the headlight's clean. Make sure it's spotless. The headlight's going to have bugs, guts, and places you don't think it's there.
Well, that's why Jersey bug scrubber is great. I did a detail with a buddy of mine on his Indian, on a Scout, and I just showed him. I literally had like 2 towels in the bucket. I had a body brush, and I had some Jersey bug scrubbers in a bucket of hot O&R. And we pulled it up, and he had taken it on a long ride, and it was filthy. And we pre-soaked it with O&R and then just started scrubbing. And we got everything off, and he was so blown away at how clean that bike was when we were done. He's like, oh, my gosh, this is insane. This is all we did? And I said, yeah, we didn't put anything on it yet.
And then you got to teach me the ways the hot Yeti bucket with O&R, and you grab the towels out of that fresh Yeti bucket and set it on the headlight so it softens everything, and then bam, take it right off.
There you go. Nice. Mitchell Long, have you guys ever used CarPro Iron X paste version? Ooh. What would that be good for? I have not used that. I've used CarPro Iron X years ago. I haven't tried their paste version.
I imagine dwell time is the point of a paste. Like you can just stick it somewhere that you want it to stay for a while. But
next up, we have Mina that says, "Hey TRC, yesterday was great. Thanks so much. That inspired me to order a new kit for my '91 Miata.
Nice.
I'm hoping.
We got 3 kits sold so far.
Affiliate link.
3 kits sold. 3 kits sold. All right.
I got one 8 years ago and only filled a few chips. It was super helpful to watch Anthony. What's it say?
Demo it.
It gives you confidence seeing someone else do it in real time. So you're like, oh, that's about how long that takes.
I get it.
What I can expect to see.
Scott Matern, I feel guilty when I eat in my car, but it doesn't stop me.
I just don't feel guilty about it.
Neil White says, driving and eating is fun until you spill it in your lap.
Yeah.
Never had that happen before.
I don't drive and eat because that freaks me out. The idea that like, oh, I'm driving. It's a dangerous situation if I drop something and my attention goes to go find the thing I dropped.
When it's gone, it's down, it's gone.
It's like, it's gone.
Can't get it back.
If you're a detailer, you think, I can handle that later. Mm-hmm. No. But also, if you're a detailer, you may not be eating in your car at all. No. So,
Dan Pfeiffer, I don't eat cheeseburgers in my car. Matt Mormon.
Just cheeseburgers, though. Maybe other things. Yeah. Who knows what Matt might
Jeff C., I only eat in my car as a last resort and never within the first week after detailing the inside. There you go. That works.
Okay.
Kirby Thompson says, if required, yes, I eat in my cars, but I try to avoid depending on the food.
Now, certain foods
some foods
are definitely not recommended in a vehicle, either because of the consistency or the way they smell.
I will say a McDonald's bag, even if it's empty, will always smell.
It
changes the scent of the car.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I always clean the car before we go on a road trip. And the very first stop out of town, my wife's like, let's stop at Jack in the Box and get the kids food. Or, hey, we made it to Mountain Home. We've been in the car for 45 minutes.
Let's
grab some McDonald's.
Scent.
And then the rest of the trip to Utah, I'm like,
it's that freaking bag.
Yeah, I mean, when I get out of Burley, we'll stop at Burley and I'll throw everything out.
Ready to crack open and start new.
I throw it all out, and then I'm like, why is that? The next day, I'm like, the car still smells like we ate McDonald's. So, Dino, I call myself a detailer, and I eat in my car, but that's only when I'm on the road or something. But I take bag that food came in and put it under. There you go.
Mm-hmm. Yep, okay. I like a little tray table made out of the bag when necessary.
I mean, I think most people are. I think they're answering this in the way of like, "Oh, do you ever eat on the road?" I think most people are like, "Yeah, I eat on the road." No, my question was,
let's give them the best part. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
You didn't tell them that, so go ahead, set that up.
What do you mean?
Sorry. What Dane actually does.
Okay, and we will actually, we're going to cover that after a short message because we're actually going to get ready to go to break here.
True. We are. Okay,
so we can jump into that once we get back from our break. Right. So we will see you here in just a few minutes. Hey guys, it's Anthony with the Rag Company, and do you know what's better than Q&A Thursday? Yes, that's right, it's Wash Wednesday. Not just because I host it, but because it is a genuinely entertaining and hopefully informative series where we take cool cars, cool owners, and wash in an impromptu interview setting. So make sure to check out Wash Wednesdays right here at the Rag Company YouTube channel. See some cool cars, see some cool people, and maybe learn a thing or two.
Hola, ¿qué tal amigos? Mi nombre es Juan González, el nuevo miembro de la Rag Company. Y el día de hoy estoy ante ustedes para dejarles saber que vamos a estar aquí haciendo grabaciones totalmente en español, haciendo FAQs, videos informativos. Y te has de preguntar, ¿por qué yo? Bueno, yo ya tengo más de 20 años de experiencia y 10 años con mi negocio en All Season allá en Idaho Falls. Así es que los invito a todos ustedes de habla hispana que se hagan tune in al nuevo canal de The Rag Company en español. Ahí los vemos.
Hey guys, Zay there, the Rad Company, and here on the Rad Company YouTube channel, we've launched something new and exciting. We all love seeing garage tours and seeing how other people's garages are laid out, and we thought we would do our own twist on that. And while we aren't so obsessed, we're definitely good enough. And so what we want to do is make an entire new series, bring you guys along and doing garage tours of different people's garages to see layouts, what they've done with the walls, what they've done with the floors, what they've done with the lighting, the storage, the tools, the detailing products, and so on. It's going to be a really cool series to hopefully give you guys new ideas and maybe make it more relatable to everybody watching. It's not obsessed garage, but it's definitely good enough garage. So check that out here on the Rad Company YouTube channel.
Hello, and welcome back to yet another Q&A Thursday, where we started with the first 20 minutes of not answering any questions at all. That was pretty fun because we were mostly just chatting about what we talked about before the show. But sometimes that happens, and if that was something that was entertaining to you, I hope that's part of the reason you come here, and not necessarily you just come here for just answers to detailing questions, but you actually like hearing the other things we have to say. Yeah. We have a podcast too. I just want to throw that out there. That's something that we actually do every Monday or Tuesday, depending on the week. It could change, but we always give a heads up, and we do it live on the Rad Company podcast channel. So if you're curious to hear more of our very specific ideas about car stuff, detailing stuff, and vaguely things that happen around the weekend, that is where you will hear that and more. That's just the way we roll. But for Q&A, we're going to try and stick to answering more questions today because we know a lot of you came here for that. But we hope you stick around for more than just that, the personalities too.
Well, Dane, you kind of just... I was about to talk about what you do in your car, so we're not getting back.
Now we're going to derail that. So now you're
derailing everything you just said.
It again.
Now you're the bad guy.
Here we go.
So, as promised, right?
Derail away.
This is one of my favorite things about Dane, right? One of the first times that me and him ever went out to lunch here working together as fellow employees, we went over to the Euro Shack and we got our food, through the drive-thru. We ordered our separate orders. And after we had our bags, I'm thinking, okay, we're going to drive back to TRC, set up in our little media room that we had, and then enjoy some lunch together, right? What ended up actually happening is we went through the drive-thru, got our stuff, and then as we're driving out, Dane just turns and pulls into a parking spot. And he's like, hey, hope you don't mind. This is just kind of what I like to do on my lunch. And I'm like, oh, wait, well, you just want to get out and sit out on the grass or, eat our food here?
Oh, no.
So as he puts his phone up onto his phone mount thing, he sets up his thing, kind of tilts his seat back a little bit.
I have memory settings. I just push the memory setting.
Gets comfortable, kind of divvies out the food. He's like, I thought we can just kind of sit here and relax and eat our food and maybe put something on the phone. Like, what? Is this what you do? You do this? This is where you go at lunch. Yeah. You literally get food, sit in your car, and watch something, and that is just
listen to a podcast, watch a show, something that occupies the same amount of time
most people,
as my lunch break.
People do that. Yeah. They go out, they sit in their car, they eat. But Dane let us in on a little secret.
Yeah.
Dane, what do you have set? You have something set in your car.
Oh, no, like the Jag, for example, which I know is going to make some people cringe. I keep the Jag clean inside, but I do eat in the Jag. I do not discriminate. All of my vehicles are eaten in. But in the Jag, it's nice because the steering wheel, the seat, and everything it's like a 23-way adjustable seat, and the settings on the steering wheel. Anyway, they're all memory settings. Some people have like a setting for
a husband and wife
and
setting.
Husband and wife setup or whatever your girlfriend.
Dane has a driving.
I'm driving setting. I have a I'm sleeping setting if you're on a road trip, and then because I have 3, I have the I'm eating setting. So I use the driving and eating ones a lot. So I push the setting that then moves the steering wheel down to create a better backboard for me to then place my little tray against, which my tray is usually the bag from the place that I'm eating.
No, he very much, he does set up the tray. He'll
deliberate.
Or whatever it comes in.
I take whatever paper bag I have and I just crease it flat, and then that's my table to protect from dropping anything. Yeah. And then I also point out, this is going to make some more people cringe, Where the gauge cluster is, there's usually like a little shelf there. Yeah, that's where you put your sauces, and you just make sure you don't spill. So that's my sauce tray.
So Augie does this. Augie does this when we're on a road trip. He opens up the ranch packets, like when he gets with his chicken nuggets, and he sets them inside the arm grab handle.
Oh, my.
And so he can sit back, and he's all about that. He puts his cup in the cup holder.
He's living in the lap of luxury back there.
His thing, he sets it up, he sets his stuff, and he's eating his nuggets and dipping them. And my daughter saw that, and I remember driving, and her going, Augie, where'd you put your ranch? And he goes, I put it right here in this little holder. And she goes, that's a great idea. And in my head, I'm cringing because that's ranch packets, like ranch little tray,
ranch.
open, sitting in the door pocket that I know they're going to just open or slam the door. It's going to splatter up the wall, all that stuff. But those two back there, trading secrets, enjoying. I got a couple little Danes in the back.
Now, I want to say,
relaxed, enjoying, eating their snacks and food.
I've been doing this for like 15 plus years, so I have it down to a science.
Well, I think everybody has theirs, but yours is.
I will say I'm meticulous about it. One thing I wanted to ask is when he places his sauce pack in the door, does he remove the lid? Does he fold it back? What does he do?
He leaves it attached and up.
Okay, see, that's dangerous. I don't like that.
I think so too.
That spooks me. So you know what I do?
What do you do?
I take it off, I lick it because I like the flavor, and then I slip it inside the bag. I slip it inside the bag so that it does not touch anywhere else. See, if I want a little Chick-fil-A sauce, I love just a little sample of it. You know?
I approve
slip it in the
I will
bag.
say, as funny as that sounds, I approve of that because that's a great habit.
Number one, it reduces the possibility for mess because extraneous sauce hanging off a sauce packet lid is just asking to soak through a bag and cause problems.
When you have the flap. When you have the flap, you got to put your chicken nugget, and the top of the flap touches your finger, and you get sauce on the top of your finger.
Yes, exactly.
So I just wanted to, address
all right,
that.
Jeff C.
Where are we?
Tom Kirby, if required, yes, I eat my carbs, but try to avoid depending on the food.
Yep.
Dino says I call myself a detailer but I put the food under. All right, so now Dan Pfeiffer, no eating in my car allowed, water only. And then Neil White says Dan Pfeiffer eats Ruby Tuesday and Applebee's in his car. And then Brian Vlogs, lol, this became more of a roast session more than a Q&A.
It's funny how that works.
Harley says, what a terrible podcast.
Sorry to disappoint, but
Dutch
other
says,
people
hey guys, quick question on considering using Brake Buster on my ceramic coated wheels. Is it safe to use or will it degrade the coating? Thoughts on quick finish on a ceramic coated PPF? So quick finish on ceramic coated PPF, totally fine to use. Brake Buster, I would recommend that you dilute it, especially if your wheels are already ceramic coated. 10 to 1. You don't need full strength on there. It's already doing its job protecting them. So
Neil White said it'd be awesome if you guys did a driving live stream while eating. See who makes the biggest mess. It'll most likely be me. That's why I don't do it.
Who wants to chauffeur me around?
First from Puerto Rico, Humberto says Levi being diabetic as well as two of as two of my four sons. We always go to the shoulder of the road to stop and eat a snack out of the car.
There you go.
Out of the car.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mountain Town, Anthony, the smell of super foam is better than active foam. Debate.
It's close, man. I like active foam more, but I there's no denying that super foam also smells amazing. Like,
Dino says the Christmas edition.
They both smell great.
Yeah.
Gorilla Jeebus, what's up, my dudes? Speaking of polishes and compounds, are the Hyper Twins still a thing? Thinking about switching to Sonax and Coach Kemmie. So the Hyper Twins are still a thing. They're still made. You can still buy them. Yeah. We don't...
they're as good as the day they were new.
Well, I think that Hyper Polish will always be the shining star amongst the three... hyper compound, intensive polish, and then hyper polish. Hyper polish is always like that's the one, right?
It does a lot.
It does a lot, but I still think that hyper compound is fine. It's just the biggest flaw in that system was always the spray bottles. I think the spray bottles, even being a sprayable compound and polish, it was cool, but I felt like the sprayers got gunked up and people kind of fell off from using them. But they're still good. But hyper polish would be one that I would always keep in your arsenal just because it's such a good versatile overall polish.
Yeah.
Detail Dude PL says, as long as it's something neutral like burger or fries, it's okay. Trading something from my national cuisine.
Pierogies, sauerkraut, or Polish grilled sausage, and that smell will be there forever.
No, Dane would do that, though,
he would.
without any question.
Now,
correct.
The thing here is, I would be
delicious
ridiculous
Polish
about it.
sausage.
That's my point. Is
covered
I may
in
seem like
sauerkraut.
kind of like a go with the flow, whatever guy, but when it comes to that stuff, I'm very particular. I do not want to create a mess that I then have to
like
clean
that
up.
in a car. I want to enjoy that in a way. I'm like, wow, I'm going to enjoy this to the fullest, right?
No, I don't-
I can't
no.
do that in a car.
So I
You
enjoy.
don't enjoy your food though.
I enjoy my food.
You do, but you enjoy it after it's been
Correct.
eaten.
Eat now, tasted later.
Yikes.
Yeah.
So mine is preemptive laziness. I don't want to have to detail my car later necessarily, so I try and do all the steps I can to avoid creating that situation for myself later.
Okay,
So I
that's
handle all the stuff in a timely manner, and then it becomes less of a problem, and my car doesn't smell, and I don't have to worry about
Well,
it.
for example, your dad, I think you might get this from your dad, right? Because Jeff Hennon is notorious for eating bananas.
Yeah, it's his
Oh, he
banana
loves
peel
bananas.
He
problem.
loves
He's a
bananas,
banana
right?
man.
But
Banana
the
man.
reason why he likes bananas is because
Throws
it's
the peel on the passenger
it's
side.
a peelable situation.
Correct.
That doesn't get the mess on your hand, right? It's fast, it's
Throw it on the
mobile,
WeatherTech.
and then he can throw it on the WeatherTech, and that's the banana peel. Like that's the end of it, right? There's nothing else to worry about.
There's a light scent, but not a bad scent.
Not a bad
when it
scent.
starts to rot.
Well,
No, yeah. Don't like that.
we got Zach Jones that says, are there any leather detailing products you guys would use to clean or condition a leather couch in your house? Thanks as always for the info. Color Lock.
Yes.
Color Lock. It's the mild cleaner. I'd use the mild cleaner, and I'd use
Big
the leather
thing.
conditioner.
Tried
The
and
big
true.
thing, make sure that it's a sealed leather.
Yeah,
Because if
not
it's an
a-
aniline leather, like a saddle style leather, then that's a different process,
product.
and they make an aniline cleaner and conditioner for that. But if it's a black leather
I'd
couch
imagine
or
it's
a
sealed.
red leather, like a burgundy leather like Dane used to have or something like that, that's usually a sealed. If it's a pigmented leather, then it's usually sealed. In that sense, any of the Color Lock kits work amazingly well for that.
So Detailing Vibes 2006 wants to know how long Coach Kemmie wax will last. It can last anywhere. I'm going to throw anywhere from like 3 months, maybe even up to 9 months. It just depends on
Maybe
kind of
even
what
1
the car
month,
is
depending
going
on how
through.
you're
Maybe 1
carrying
month.
it. Yeah.
Hey,
$2.
Thank
Oh,
you,
yeah, thank you.
Detailing Vibes. That's
Money in a
very
while.
kind.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
I don't like to set too much of an expectation for a wax. Even that wax having some good polymers in there, I still think that for the most part, it's mostly naturally derived. It's got some kind of good combination of things in it, but it does have a polymer. It does have a polymer sealant built within that wax, and for that reason, I want to say that you have to get at least 3 months. But it depends. It depends on how it's applied. It depends on what you put it through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think on a car that's garaged every single day, I think on a car that's well maintained, maybe not daily driven, probably you get 9 months.
Yeah. Mike C, does it really matter whether you fold a Tri-Zac into fours or wrap the sandpaper around a rid stick while wet sanding? Mike, it's all personal preference. The guys from KXK love cutting out little pieces that they can use that are then just the right size to wrap around there. I've always been the guy that folds Tri-Zac into fours and then wraps that around the rid stick. So it really just depends on personal preference at that point.
I just fold it into fours and use the pressure of my fingers to.
There you go.
Yeah, that's where you control it.
I create a perfect pressure point package.
Nice.
Some people would say that you can't. It's not possible, but pretty good.
Mountain Town says he had it on his 4Runner for 4 months and it was performing wonderfully.
Oh, good.
Then Jamie Pollock, hey guys, hope you're all well. Can Coach Kemmie be used on plastic wheel arch liners as a more durable option than trim dressing? Yeah,
Like
you totally can.
PSS could be used.
Well, you can use PSS or you can use Motorplast.
Yeah.
And then Danny Zamudio, the best solution for PNS Carpet Bomber, straight or 1-to-1?
I have Studio stuck in my head.
Yeah.
Let's go to.
Are we on page 1?
No, we're on page 2.
Detailing Vibe says, awesome, I'm going to have to try it. Graham, having watched Tuesday's podcast in its entirety, what car have you owned the longest? My wife has owned her very first new car, for over 31 years. Wow. So longest car I've owned is currently my Elantra. I bought that car brand new in May of 2006. So that car is 15, almost 16 years old.
Yeah.
Now, May of 2022 will be 16 years.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound right? Yeah. So
You've had that launcher for that long?
yeah,
Wow.
Well, remember, he's had it since new. So.
I bought it brand new
Off the
It's
lot.
the first
Off
car.
the
So
lot. Your dad told you not to do that.
he told me it was the worst investment I would ever make.
It's dumb.
Yeah.
You're going to lose all your money.
Can't believe you spent money on a new car.
Yeah.
You can buy a perfectly good used car and save money. But but the payment's only like $200 a month.
Who's laughing now, Dad? Right?
Yeah,
that car is still a high performance machine, blown struts and everything.
I haven't driven it in a while because I've been driving the Suburban because it's been so bad the weather. But I hopped in it yesterday and drove it to work. It's creaking and popping from all those struts.
Boy.
Gone. I'm like, I got to get these swapped.
We really do just need to do a suspension overhaul.
Hey, our friends at Megan Racing, if you could get us some coilovers, we could throw that on there.
We just need to go to the junkyard. Let's go pull struts. There's got to be something over there with better struts. Because you're already on lowering springs.
Yeah, we can get a Tiburon.
Man. Just throw. It'll take us literally an hour to do. We got nut busting torque to be able to bust those things off.
We could probably do it easy.
For you, is it the Evo or is it the Triumph? Which have you had longer? The Evo?
I've owned the Evo 9 years. Actually, 9 years this month I've owned the Evo for. And then the Triumph, I'm going on 6 years on the Triumph.
Yeah. Okay.
Gosh, I can't believe I owned that bike for that long.
Man.
That's crazy to me. I can't let it go, though. I love it too much. Yeah. But I wish I had room for more. I wish I had room for more stuff.
I really just need like a crew cab dually, lowered crew cab dually, or another S10. That's really all I need. Something like that.
Yeah, so, I don't know. After my discussion talking about how many cars is too many cars, and I say I wish I had more room for more things, that doesn't make any sense. I need to learn how
Dane,
to let go.
How about you? What's the longest you've ever owned a car?
Longest is probably my first one. My 94 Subaru SVX I owned for about 8 years.
That's a good time. I can't believe that SVX lasted 8 years.
Oh, I took
those
great
things
care
were notoriously unreliable.
Dane, did you eat in the SVX? Did you eat in the SVX?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. That car traveled with me down to the southern border, all the way to Canada, all over the place. I took that thing everywhere. I love that car. And I only bought it with 50,000 miles on it, so...
What was eating in that car like? Because does it have a seatbelt that goes up? No, it didn't. No,
the pre-93 or 94 models had the little mouse belts, but I had the first year, the 94, where they added the lap belt, the 3-point, like a standard 3-point. Mm-hmm. They got rid of those stupid motorized belts, and I was like, oh, thank God.
Do you ever wish that small little window within the window was functioning? To where
it does.
That little window functions within the big
window? That's the window.
Yeah, the window within a window rolls down.
Not the whole window, just the little window.
Yeah, I did not know that the little window rolled down.
You can have that window rolled down on the freeway and hold a conversation with the person next to you because it blocks enough airflow.
So he would have to reach out, and that's how he'd get his food, by going like this to get it and then bringing it back in.
It dries off with it. Like,
let's be real. It's no different than what fast food workers have been having to do lately with the screens in front of them anyway, like reaching under and like handing out. It's just the way it is.
Yep.
But you go to a toll booth or something, it had rear windows that rolled down too, believe it or not. Same thing, window. I love that car.
That's how you air out after eating in the car.
Sean Prince.
Here's a whole other meeting.
Hey guys, amazing content as always. Love seeing the new videos popping up. Do you have any tips for cleaning up cleaning dog hair from carpets? Thanks. Buy it for real. If you haven't already, Sean. For real.
Mm-hmm.
For real. Pick up the for real.
FUREEL.
Yeah, it'll change your life. Grab a couple of them. You only need a couple. You only need the fang and the with the attachment, and then get some replacement pieces because they do wear out.
Mm-hmm.
Brett Wilburn, my vehicle's ceramic coated, about to be redone. Which Coach soap would you recommend for washing it when I'm not using the amazing O&R? No professional setup here. No air compressor. Just use GSF, bud.
That's a safe bet every
Coach
time.
Soap. Yeah, he said Coach Soap. So General Snow Foam.
Jimmy Moto, dealer work is tough. I'm fortunate in that we have a vendor that does awful work. It allows me to charge more, and I get to cherry pick my work for the most part. There you go. Nice.
I love it.
Tristan.
I love his avatar. Help.
Yeah. How to reach high-end clientele. Turns out leaving cards in people's Porsches don't work. Yeah, so Tristan, high-end clientele is extremely hard to get. You have to, it's all word of mouth. So
you got to do a good job on a guy's car.
You can't just put a business card because people go, okay, whatever, dude. Yeah. You gotta get to know people, and you gotta have that customer that really likes you and lets you do it, and then you document that.
Because high-end car owners are friends with other high-end car owners, right? Yeah. It's a very cliquey thing, especially within local environments, and so chances are they know somebody else because it's always a conversation piece. And
don't come in as a hey, I'll clean your car like.
That sends off some alarm bells.
How often it comes up in conversation, right? Because I've been around high-end car owners, right, that are talking with each other, right, meeting for the first time, right, and they compliment the car. Wow, it looks amazing,
I got a
right?
scratch though that I got for.
Well, you can say, oh yeah, it looks amazing. I like it. Then it's very simple. The guy will say, oh yeah, no, I just got it detailed. Oh, cool. Who'd you have it detailed?
Yeah.
I had this guy detail it. Oh, do you have his information? Yeah, I do. That will happen in like the first 5 minutes of a conversation.
It's a natural conversation, but the detailer has no say in it. It just happens.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. They literally say, man, like the car. Thanks, man. Yeah, we've been doing a lot of. It's just my dang kid ran their scooter into it, bumped into it, or my wife hit it with her purse and put a scratch in it. Oh, I just got my car detailed. I got a guy that could take care of that for you. Oh, really? What's his number? That's how it works. So just get, like, one thing you can do if you want, if you're local to your area, get into a car show. You can set up a booth. Just know that you may not get enough details to handle the cost of that booth. Yeah. So it could be a risk. The other thing is hit some Cars and Coffee. Those are a little cheaper to advertise in, so you can see about getting a booth and just set up and just park a car there that is nice and clean and detailed and looking great with some flyers and some pamphlets and maybe put some coffee or something, whatever out, so people come by your booth and talk to you. But just know that it's hard work. Yes. I've been to import shows. I've done things where I've sponsored different car shows for best paint, things like that. Some customer, you're never going to get customers that way. The best way I did it was just being friends, being a normal customer to people and asking just by doing their work and learning about them and learning about what they do, because it's just the word of mouth. And it may not even be a person that owns a nice car. It may just be somebody who likes your services, but knows a guy. Because, like, I had Brad Wiskerson.
Yeah.
That was my guy. Very wealthy person who could literally just say, oh, I got my car cleaned. Or see somebody else's car and he's like, wow, that's a really cool car. Holy cow, that looks really good. And they're like, wow, yeah, oh man, your car looks great. Oh yeah, I had my guy that detailed it. Oh, how do I get his number? Brad drove an Acura. The first day I came to the rag company, I was working on his Acura TL.
Yeah.
Wasn't anything special. It was a really nice blue TL. Yeah. But he loved keeping that car clean. That was the only thing. And it was like it was his favorite car at the time. And so he kept it spotless. But what had happened was he started telling some of his friends who actually had nice cars, and they call and go, hey, I heard from Brad Wiskerson.
Well, and that's one thing I wanted to ask Tristan here, because go ahead and answer in the comments. I'm curious. When you're thinking of high-end clientele, are you thinking the high-end vehicles, or are you looking for that high-end owner who's going to be like offering you up maybe a less messy car? Like, what's your
right?
Purpose
that's a good question too.
What you're trying to achieve?
Because honestly, sometimes minivans are the easiest thing to make money on.
Yeah. Do you want the clout that comes with, I worked on the super badass car? Like, some people like that, but other people, after a while, you kind of realize a car is a car is a car, no matter how high or low end is. Yes, the materials get more expensive and require certain special care in many cases, but the paint is usually going to be kind of the same deal, and the interiors are going to be the same deal. But you're kind of looking more for like the owners, probably, who are going to give you a certain.
We're making a lot of assumptions. We'll have him let us know.
Detailing Vibes 2006 best big dry and towel y'all like. Liquidator, the big size. Getty, Costello. Hey guys, odd question for you three. My 04 gray Honda Accord clear coat failure above the driver's side window to the back seat window. Rest of the car is fine. Any fix you guys can think of? Thank you. Once it's gone, man. You can try and slice it off a little bit. You can try lightly polish it. You can coat it. It depends on the clear coat failure. If it's already starting to break through your color coat, you're pretty much just going to have to fix that or repaint that spot.
Depending on if it's on a panel, right? Like that
body line.
That body line. If you want to, you could polish it out, and then you can get it PPF'd and seal that in. Yeah. It should help make it hold up for several years to come.
Yep.
But, I mean, once it starts going, man, it starts getting dry and flaky. That's it.
Yep. Josh J, I love the double twistress drying towels. They're my go-to, and I do see a lot of people using the Gauntlet. Which one is better? The two, do you guys? Which one better? Which one between the two do you guys prefer? I like Gauntlets, but the twistress is really nice for all those folks that are there. So
I always like the size of the twistress, but you can get smaller gauntlets too.
Yeah.
So
Espen, late night hello from Norway. Hi. Can enjoy the show today, live today, as I'm not working overtime at the emergency room this weekend. Nice. Well,
glad to hear that.
Talk, Espen. Appreciate it. Aaron's, your thoughts on Maguire Water versus Liquidator? The
Water
Maguire
magnet?
one. Yeah, probably Water Magnet. Maguire one is 22 by 30, while the Liquidator is around a 20 by 24. There's different sizes, just so you know. We have 3 different sizes of the liquidator, Aaron, so you can go the bigger size up.
Do a 25 by 36.
Yeah, you can do 25 by 36. Does it make drying longer or enough to dry an SUV? It'll dry an SUV, the big one. Make a difference when drying. Our liquidator, I think, will out-dry the water magnet, but
Oh, yeah.
don't hold me to
absolutely.
it.
I think it will. Absolutely.
I think it will. Aaron says distilled is around 99 cents, and you can get it on 5 gallons. It's pretty cheap. It is very cheap.
Yeah.
Espen, when is a video of wash and finish coming? We're working on them. We've got a list of stuff we've got to do, so we're trying. He says water magnet from McGuire's. Forgot to put the name in the chat. Weaver, do you guys wash your polishing pads before first use? No, I don't. I just go straight in, crack them out of the bag.
After
and put it
first
on
use,
I think it's because we recommend on towels you do that. But
not
on
polishing pads.
Yeah, you don't have to.
Kirby Thompson looking at a recent YouTube video with salt used Auto Fanatic. Okay, works great, loosen, and he did it O&R wash. There you go. Tristan, what services to offer in the slower winter times? Try and do winter prep stuff or gift certificates. A lot of gift certificates because people will buy them to save them for the summer.
Well,
so
they're great
it's an easy
Christmas
way.
gifts.
And it's a great
everybody's
Christmas
excited
gift.
the holidays.
Try and get
That's a
I used to be
unique
able
thing I
to
can give.
make the same amount of money on a December as I could in a June because of gift certificates. And then June, I still had to do more details, but some of those were those gift certificates, but I still made plenty of money in June.
That's okay.
First, Levi, for salt and rust, I use Built Hamber's Deox C and then Adam Mac, since I have customers here who live near the beach. There you go. That's a salty area, yeah. Spencer, hello from good old South Dakota. -10 with the wind chill, doing full interiors all day. There you go,
Better
Spencer.
interiors than
Enjoy 'em.
exteriors at that point.
Yeah, and Glossy Bear, I'm removing 3-month-old CSL so the customer can wrap the car. Do you think the last cut will handle the job, or should I bust out KCX heavy cut?
No. Last cut will do the job.
Last cut with a blue wool would be great.
Don't bust out heavy cut.
Yeah,
No need.
with the Rupes blue wool will be fine. Aaron's, I eat in the car, but only for road trips, and my car is old. It's from 2008. And then Kirby Thompson saying, replying about, beach and road salt, very similar. Zach, on the subject of clean salt from the underside of the car, do you think something like a Works Hydro Shop, maybe with O&R, would be enough power at 320 PSI to get the job done?
I think it'd be better than not doing anything at all. Absolutely.
Exactly. Peter Judge, good morning or good afternoon, TRC crew. I was wondering if you run the CR spotless filter during the whole wash or just the final rinse. Whole wash.
Yeah.
We go hard in the paint that way.
And we use it long past most people.
Right now on my system, I've done about 10 or 12 washes on my system at home, right? I'm still at 0 ppm.
Yeah.
So
you're fine.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I don't ever see the reason. Like, I just let it run. Like, some people like to use the pre-soak, which is the regular water, and then they want to do their final rinse.
The reason being is that when you pre-soak, right? When you pre-soak, you're often moving from the pre-soak to the foam or the soap pretty quick, right? Mm-hmm. Soap, for the most part, is able to not neutralize hard water, but the soap mixture with water, right?
Yeah, it softens it.
It softens it for that period of time that it's being used. It's slippery, and so. That's why people think it's not as necessary, right? Because they think, okay, by the time the soap hits the surface, I don't have to worry about the hard water. I'm agitating it. I'm rinsing it now with the pure water, and I'm rinsing it thoroughly. There shouldn't be a problem. But I think that the headache of having a different, depending on how your setup is.
It could just be as simple as turning a lever, but other times it's an extra step that you just don't feel like doing.
The lever, it's another part that could potentially leak. I just use it for the whole thing because at the same time, man, I've done, like I said, a little over 10 washes on my setup, and I feel like it's already paid for itself in just the amount of working time I have and the therapeutic aspect of the whole, rinseless
it's kind of like hypermiling an already efficient car. It's like, are you necessarily going to get that much more out of it if you're just like nickel and diming yourself on the system?
I would
use it.
Absolutely
just
pay. If I replace that resin every single year, I'd absolutely pay whatever the $100 or whatever it was to replace the resin every single year for the peace of mind, but also just because, I think it's worth it, man. It's just so much worth it with me not having to stress to be like, oh, the hard water.
One less thing to worry about, one less point of potential failure. Just go right through.
Yeah.
Delphine says, I will not even eat a biscuit in my car. Can't stand the speck of dust in my interior. Guess I'd rather starve. I'm right there with you,
so
Delphine.
Love it. I appreciate the dedication, though.
Grant asking the real important question: have we had a Tony close-up yet?
Yes, we have.
Oh,
Multiple.
yes. It's a double Tony close-up.
Been multiple.
Jacob Terry, Dane over here, living in 30-20 Wally style.
I love it.
Brian Wilburn says, I never, ever eat granola in a vehicle. Never,
But only
ever eat
granola? Would you
Yeah.
eat other things?
Yeah.
Oh, he's just
He's saying
it
like
as
a granola bar.
A public service message.
don't
of
eat every
just don't do
granola.
it. Like a Nature's Valley bar just
Yeah.
explodes of all the
just
dust.
Nature's
Those
Valley is the worst.
are the worst, crummiest,
Hands
dustiest.
Yep.
Oh, just don't do it.
Brian McHale,
Never in a car.
the food smells are too much for me.
Yeah, I can
that's
see
fair.
that.
And Grant says, I'm going to make a sticker, no food, drinks, or smoking while on Boost.
But
There
only
you go.
while on Boost. Anytime else, sure.
Andre says, more than just detail and wisdom shared here. You guys are awesome. Thank
you, Andre.
Andre.
You get it.
Yep.
You make up for the person that said that this
The worst
podcast,
podcast ever.
podcast ever.
Because we claim to be a Q&A and then we don't answer questions for
Yep.
20 minutes.
Zach Jones, I have the Works Hydrostop, both models, and I'm doubtful it would be as satisfactory with only the O&R. Use the bottle attachment salt away solution perhaps better. I guess, Kirby, you could try both.
I don't know. We haven't used the salt away, but I think Auto Fanatic had nothing but nice things to say about it. So I don't know. I mean, and I just don't know why. I guess, how do I say this? I think we do need to be a little more worldly and probably experimenting with more rust products like that.
Yeah, I agree.
I know I am looking forward to the KCX rust remover if we do ever get it over here, which is designed, I think, for surface rust is what it's for. I think that's what it is.
We do carry products that have rust inhibitors.
We have products that have rust inhibitors in, but I think that we do need to do some more testing, and I don't know what that would mean for us and how we would know if it would work because again we don't have salt here. But I feel like maybe we could call up some people and get some better recommendations to give to people.
Our friends up in the Midwest.
Something like
Brian saying, go-to method for door jamb cleaning efficiency. Quick detailer while it's still wet or a separate bottle of O&R. Here's what I do.
Hit me.
Wet towel in O&R.
Yeah.
Pull it out of the bucket, wring it out. That is my one wipe. I do my primary wipe with that. Clean out the door jamb, make sure all the dirt and grit, especially after I've washed the vehicle. Put that back in, grab another one for the other jams. Then, when I'm going around, maybe I'm doing a little dream maker or a little bead maker on the car, that's when I open the door, hit those jams with that product because they've already been wiped, they've already been O&R wiped, they're already clean. I just hit it again and get it done. Nice. Now, when I'm detailing the car and I actually have to get the hinges and stuff, then I use a little degreaser and then I hit them with the actual dressing. I'll hit them with dressing or I'll hit them with steam and clean and get those hinges. Is that snow?
That is a snowball.
We're having a snowstorm, right? A snowstorm.
Just outside.
There is apparently a massive snowstorm outside, and we are getting
when we went to the bathroom, it was like just a blizzard outside. I was like, well, that looks scary.
So this was just
I brought the Nokia and Hakkapelitas.
I'm
excited.
I'm
ready. I'm going to use the Jag up the driveway.
You only have to drive like half a mile away.
That's okay. I'm going to go up and...
Dane's like, well, this is the best commute I've ever had.
This cat has claws. Okay, so
I drove the CRZ. No, it'll be fine. It's not going to melt. It's cold enough inside here, I think.
Kirby Thompson, Levi Anthony. I was trained using a 3-towel method. Dry, wet, dry for Inspiration coating. Do you know any other brands that do the same application method? No, Inspiration's one of the only products that I know that does that style with the wet towel and a dry towel. So, Brian Vlogs, best way to clean wheels with O&R.
It's funny you should
We've got a video.
Oh my gosh, we have a video.
So relevant.
When does that come out?
I believe that comes out on Saturday.
There you go.
Saturday. Stay tuned.
Yeah, you'll love it. It's a good video.
Since you're watching, I'll let you in on a secret. It's on the big wheels on the truck before I sold it.
26s.
So, yeah. It makes it real easy to see what's going on.
Yeah.
All right. What page did we
Probably
end up
one.
at? We are on one now. Bam. Ken Jeeper.
What are your opinion on Adam's waffle weave towel for waterless washing? It's a good towel. It's fine. A lot of people. next Saturday.
Oh, right. It's next Saturday.
Wheel
I'm
one drops.
sorry. We can talk about O&R wheel washing then for the sake of someone asking.
So
really
back to opinion on the waffle weave towel. You can use it. They love using it. I have always been a big fan of a longer pile towel for waterless washing. I don't really like using just that for that.
They're banking on the feel. Because basically, once you spray their waterless wash or whatever waterless wash you're using, typically it's going to change the way the surface feels, right? It's going to lower the surface tension, making it slick.
Correct.
The waffle weave
on that is
always feels amazing on a slick surface. It will always feel good. It's going to feel very slick and slippery.
Yeah.
So I understand why people like the idea of it, but ultimately you want something that has a deeper pile. So anything that you're picking up, whether it's dirt or contaminants, actually give
it a place to
into
go.
the pile, not just remain on the surface of
For
that weave.
safety's sake.
Okay, back to the how do you wash the wheels with O&R? Easy, pre-rinse with O&R.
256
to 1. You can add a wheel cleaner into the mix if you want to do that. Hit it with a wheel cleaner or just continue using O&R. I like using wet towels rather than brushes because I feel like they do a better job. So O&R soaked towels, go through, clean everything up, use brushes on the intricate details, but then at the end of everything, you're going to re-rinse the wheel with more O&R within a sprayer, or rinse off the brake buster you just sprayed on there, wheel cleaner, and then add a drying aid, dry it, and call it good. But you'll see the full process next Saturday. It's much more in depth.
Yeah.
Excruciatingly in depth.
Yeah. So the reason it's not coming out this Saturday is because there's a different video coming out this Saturday.
Yeah.
This Saturday is a new garage tour. So for those who are curious about that
whose
and
is
have
it?
been wondering, whose
garage?
we haven't done a garage tour. Should I say whose garage it is,
Yeah,
or
whose
should I
garage
just
is
let
it?
them figure it out?
Whose garage is it?
Well, they've already seen this person's garage.
They have?
It's
Yes.
a rerun?
It's a new version of the same garage. Somebody already updated their garage between the last time we showed it and now.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
K9
not
Up
me.
says, any insight into the IK Foam 2 Plus? You mean the picture that we posted on Instagram that said soon?
Yeah, so we'll wait to talk about it once it's ready to rock and roll. We're still working on the inventory situation, but we're hoping for a very soon launch.
Yeah.
Very soon.
Dino says, polished brand named FX Protect and a ceramic coating that you can wipe with a wet towel, and also Ewocar brand also have polish and coating that you can do with a wet wipe. There you go. So it looks like in Europe. Sincere saying ceramic soap for ceramic coated vehicle, or any soap will do. Any soap will do, but you want to make sure that it's a pH balanced soap. Right. And the benefit of adding a ceramic soap is that it provides more slickness and gloss to the surface when cleaning. So you kind of don't have to add another little step to that. So Martin saying, hey guys, hope all is well. Question, what's the best way to clean Alcantara? I currently have Alcantara seat inserts and they look a little chalky. Heard a little steam helps recondition the fibers. So with Alcantara, it's best to not really use much at all. You have to use a pH neutral product. So
O&R.
First off, O&R is very easy. Steam, a little bit of steam. You don't want to use a lot because it is a microfiber, so you want to be careful about not burning it. So keep the heat away. You can add a little steam in a brush and just kind of clean.
But don't hold it.
You can use O&R soaked towel that you've wrung out, and you can clean and wipe so you're not saturating the surface. If it's really filthy, Color Lock Alcantara cleaner is specifically designed to remove staining, to remove all that stuff and clean that surface properly. So we make an Alcantara kit that has everything in it that you can use for Alcantara. So you can pick it up on our website.
Yes, sir.
Tony, hey guys, love you all. Oh, thank you, Tony, and appreciate all your knowledge. In your Dodge O&R wash video, I saw you guys use the IK Foam Pro 12. Did you modify it to spray O&R? I tried it on mine, and it spits and sputters. Tony, the world will never know.
How many people watch
Seriously,
that video?
Every time we do a live video or some kind of video where the focus
watched, and then they see this
where the focus is on something specific, such as winter wash methods, such as O&R on this, everybody just goes, yeah, the title, the focus, that's great. Now, I'm more interested in this one thing that you didn't talk about at all. And maybe
Tony, feel free to email Anthony at theragcompany.com and he can help you point you in the right direction.
I can't point you in the right direction.
Read between the lines. That's all I'm saying.
How perfect wheels have to be if you want to ceramic coat them. I have very few scratches, but Delphine, they can be as perfect or as not perfect as you want. It's totally up to you. When we buy new wheels, that's something we like doing. We like getting them coated before we get everything mounted because they're off the car and they're going to be put on. For wheels that here in Idaho, we will, in a lot of other places where you do winter changeover, that's another time that people can do a deep clean and either recoat, they can polish them out, they can put that because they're going to store them for winter. But really, it just depends on how that customer's car is going to be taken care of, and how you want to do it. So some wheels, they're not, you've got customers that if it's just they want them cleaned up, you can polish the front faces of stuff and you can coat them and call it good. Some people are very happy with that, but they don't have to be perfect. That's the one thing that I recommend. They don't have to be perfect. Wheels on their own are inherently going to get a lot of stuff. So,
yeah, that's life.
But it also depends on the wheel. Spencer, Anthony, what's a good email to reach out for that wash and talk on my CTSV? Anthony at theragcompany.com.
Spencer's going to make the drive.
Spencer's going to do it.
He's going to do it, man. Yeah. He's going to make that drive. He's going to bring it
on over.
Saying, "Hip guys, Happy New Year. Anyways, have you guys tried applying the ceramic coating using a dual action polisher instead of the traditional method?" Never even heard of that, Contra.
Yeah,
never even heard about that.
I don't even think you can do that. I mean, I'm sure you can. I don't think you should.
That's probably some of the most expensive sling you'll ever experience.
It's expensive sling and introducing heat to it almost immediately.
I paid hundreds of dollars for this coating, and now it's just blasting onto the walls.
Watch, that's like the secret to like a lifelong coating.
And we just didn't know.
Nobody's done it yet.
Throwing pads.
Yeah,
it's curing.
Rock hard. It's like hard rock pads. John Roberts looks like he drives a
Aston Martin Vantage.
No, I was gonna say it's a Jaguar.
Yeah, it looks like a Jag. That looks like a.
There's got to be some reason why Dane's Jag looks kind of like an Aston Martin, but I can't figure out to save my life.
It's weird because it is just a rebodied
its name
Mustang.
is Ian Callum.
It's a rebodied Mustang.
Who?
John Roberts saying, top tip, get the CR Spotless on the EU website, guys. Limited choice over here, and it would fly out the door. That's something you guys need to write and let TRC EU. We don't carry them here on our website.
Yeah, we don't. But Patrick, that'd be a good opportunity for Patrick over
Patrick could probably see if that's something. Contribita saying, try Koch Kemmie PO. It's very good for Alcantara. Yeah, Polestar also. Textile cleaner. Very simple, very easy to use. Brett, which Koch Kemmie do you recommend for a newly ceramic coated vehicle? I usually use O&R or Shift Soap by Shine Supply. Also no compressor here. One day maybe. Same thing. pH balanced GSF. We already answered that.
A lot of Coach questions today. I wonder if somebody had a video
he
come
did that
out
on
both
his those are both his questions there.
Yeah.
Same different pictures. Matt the viewer, just curious, what's the best way to fix a chipped ceramic coating? FYI, my detailer cleaned chip area, then reapplied the Optimum Pro Plus previously applied. Yeah, that's basically... So cleaned a chipped area, then reapplied Optimum Pro. Yeah, that's basically what you do. So that's the best way to fix a chipped spot.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Broad Bill Hunter. Here. It's a damn 04 Accord. Lol. It's done. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's all right.
Tristan. That's tough. I get a lot of joy out of maintaining a Garage Queen Ferrari 458, but high-end clients are more worried about the quality than the price. Correct.
Generally speaking, that's true.
They are, and you're right. Like, I was on a phone call today with a guy, and that was the joke was that if you're paying $150 on a detail, they will pick that. The customer will pick that car apart left and right. But you charge them $1,500 on a detail, and they don't even bat an eye. They don't even look at it. They're like, thanks, looks great. See ya.
All forms of retail have taught me and reinforced that lesson a million times over. The people who spend the least are often the most vocal about anything and everything.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, you can deduce from that, but it's so often the case. It's proven itself time and time.
Jimmy Moto saying $9.99.
Thanks,
Super
Jimmy.
chat dedicated to Dane from a fellow eat in the car kind of guy. Give the guy a break. It's his car.
Oh, man.
Thanks, buddy.
That's awesome,
Jimmy,
buddy.
You're all right. You're my kind of guy. I appreciate it. If you need help, just let me know.
That's hilarious.
Adam saying Yvonne said you could add 4 ounces of MDR into a gallon of distilled O&R at a 256-to-1 for salt removal. Yeah. That's not a bad idea. It's a mineral deposit remover. It's very soap-like, so you could do that, and it probably helped really work.
I was actually telling people for a couple of years, and people used it and never had an issue.
Yeah, so, it technically does what it's supposed to do. Kirby says, nice, Jimmy. Arthur, awesome show, guys. Best top 3 waterless washes. Well, we like Epic. We like Wash and Finish. And, of course, the one we've always loved is OptiClean.
Yeah.
So, there you go. Shine your light. Love the show. Have you guys tried the Phoenix EOD products yet? No. Haven't heard of that brand.
I believe
I have.
End of
Is that what that means?
I don't know.
Oh, that sounds intense. I mean, with
K9
Phoenix
Up,
in the name.
thank you guys for taking the time to answer our questions and help us out. A big thank you to your families. You could be home with them, but you're here with us. Thank you.
Aww.
Well, thank you. We appreciate it. We're actually
Thank
at
you.
work, so we'd technically still be at
rounding
work.
out the day. He's not wrong though. We
But thank
could
you.
be.
Yeah, we could
So,
be. We could if we wanted to. There's a snowstorm outside.
So my wife just texted me and said that her dad's driving home right now, right, from watching our baby girl. Said that the roads are horrible.
Treacherous.
Like, said they're bad. Like, there's
Okay.
accidents everywhere right
Is it
now.
bad that I'm excited about that?
So,
No, but you got an easy
no, it's not bad that you're excited about it. I drove the wrong damn car today.
Yeah, you
I
did.
drove the CRZ
So,
with bald tires.
They said
Should've
that
been
the
in the
storm was coming last night. I was driving home listening to NPR.
Yeah.
And they were like, there's going to be a big storm coming. And I checked the weather on the phone, and it said it's going to rain most of the day,
You're like,
and then
okay.
it might snow.
Yeah.
And I said, And then NPR popped up again and said, get ready. This is going to be a big winter storm coming. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And then this morning, I took the garbage out, and I thought, Elantra? Suburban. Well, I kind of want to show the guys some of the handiwork I've been doing,
Right.
the progress that I made on the
been
Move
working on
bumper.
that.
And so I drove the Suburban
That was a good move.
Yeah.
because I thought, just in case, we'll see.
I saw what you did there.
Smooth move.
So I wouldn't say I'm worried. I just think that my drive home is definitely going to be interesting because I'm going to try to find like a back road. Technically, at 5 o'clock, I have a hair appointment, right? A shave, right?
Going down to.
I shaved this morning.
Right, get myself a shave. But I don't know what my plan is because to get there is taking State Street, right? Typically.
You don't have to,
Yeah.
though. Try Hill Road instead. That'll get you there.
Hill Road is treacherous,
Well,
probably
it's even more
right now.
treacherous, probably.
So
But I live
I
right
don't
now.
know what my best answer is for a safe drive home during this apocalyptic storm.
Which way you got to go?
This way.
It's an eagle.
I just
Yeah,
I
Stay on the
he's
bigger
right
road.
though.
Yeah,
Stick
he
to the
says
big
stick
roads
to the
because
big
those are going to
roads.
be the ones that actually get maintained.
I guess that makes the most sense. But man, I really wish I was in that dang Dodge Ram right now. I tell you what,
What?
getting myself in that big truck.
Now
Yeah, nothing finer
you're kind
than
of
driving-
baldy tires, but at least you're front wheel drive in this case. Rear wheel drive with bald tires.
And
is
you
a
got a
nightmare.
battery in
I
it,
got
so
that
it's going to
battery
weight
in the
it
back
go
right
down.
to weigh
Yeah.
it down. So I'll probably be fine, but apparently it's pretty bad. I mean, this snowball
Yeah,
is
that's
so
Is it
dense
packed?
that
That's
it
a
is
heavy
literally
packed
it is
snow.
not
That's-
melted yet.
Yeah.
Got a
Well,
little
so
bit
here's
of-
the thing. We had, for those of you in the UK, we were right at 0 for most of the day with wind, 10 mile an hour winds. So it drops another 10 degrees technically. Then we've had that rain that has been settled to a mist for most of the day.
Yeah.
So the fact that it finally got
Sanding
cold
it down.
enough
Dang,
to
you
start
didn't sand it down. You made it wet.
to get it cold
With your
enough to
warm
start snowing
hands.
and snowing these large, giant flakes. This is the perfect time. This is beautiful. I'm very excited.
You put that rock in there?
I don't have rocks embedded in my hands.
Dane, why do you have rocks in your hands? That's weird.
It's
All right.
It's a hamburger seed.
Vic, all wrapped up here on a corner.
Anyway,
Vic Silva saying best spray on, rinse off wax. Best spray on,
Easy
rinse off,
coat.
easy coat.
Easy coat.
Yeah.
It's not a
Technic
wax. It's
Easy
actually
Coat.
technically it's a coating.
stronger than
Yeah.
most.
The UDS way.
Yeah,
Finally back.
Q4 Grand Ambassador 2021 in the house. Coming
Missed the
back to
trio.
say he misses the
Thank you,
trio,
man.
and so we're happy to have you in the house.
Shine Your Light says EOD stands for Evolve or Die.
I like the end of
That's
days
pretty nice.
better,
Yeah,
so
end of
I'd like
days
to
is
interpret it as that.
Phoenix.
End of days detailing.
Wow. Yeah, no, just, in case the detailing bread you already had wasn't going hard enough, you could just
Well, I don't want to keep
Shine
saying
your
end
light.
of days because there's apparently a storm out there. So I want to say like positive things, right? Drive to survive.
There you go.
Long life living.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
John Hull says, I would love a winter snowstorm here. Haven't had a decent dump of snow since 2013.
Really?
Thanks, John, for checking in, brother. We miss you.
buddy.
Graham, sorry, John, I hate the snow, says Graham.
Oh, man. Well, We're all caught up.
Yeah, so the snow would be delightful. I'm going to see if I got any messages. I did not. Nobody cares about me.
Nobody cares about
I kept feeling like your phone was buzzing over there. So
it is. I got some emails from the IDA, it looks like. So
guys, gals, anybody who's watching, listening right now, power move. Get those questions and comments in here. We got 10 minutes left. We can knock out a bunch, but you got to start sending them in now.
So I've got another thing. So I've always thought about, like, I like Dane. I like your idea of a mobile command center while eating.
Yeah.
You know, you got your gear. You got what you need.
You've
got your sauce. You got your sauce holder. And then a weather station so you know exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
Question for you.
Yeah.
What about installing one of those like police laptop units?
Oh, yeah.
Using that as a tray table for your passenger. So next time Anthony's in there, you're like, pops out, whips out like
where
an
it's
airplane.
like a multifold,
like a
private jet style tray that slides out from the gap between your center console and your seat.
Yeah.
So you got the area where your
it's
seat
bolted
belt
to the seat,
is there,
like where the seat bolts,
Right.
so that way it's a secure
but
fit.
it folds up and it's like multifold, so that it can get really compact.
Yeah,
because
all made out of aluminum.
Smaller vehicles, you're not going to have all that room. In a truck, sure, you could do that all day long.
Yeah.
But in a car, you got to have like the tray table fold 10 different ways just to fit.
When the second gen Dodge Rams came out, one of the things that they touted was that center console.
Yes.
How big it is.
How big it is. It was a mobile office. You could fit a 13-inch laptop inside. That was one of the things they talked about. That was the start.
Did laptops even exist then?
Yeah, they were big. 13 inches was about as big as you could get. It was probably 18 inches all the way around.
Screen was only 6 inches, but the laptop was 13 inches.
The trim around the screen was like 2 or 3 inches thick. It's hilarious.
So it was designed though for the tradesmen,
and,
so they could
the
be
mouse nub. You would steer with that little rubber nub in the middle of the keyboard.
But you would have that, so you could set up and you could like sit on your seat and turn. Right.
Yes. Got a lot of practice. All right. So
that way you could invoice. You could do all those things. Have that, so you could open it up and you could have all your full office suite set up. You had room to put a printer, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So
dot matrix.
It started that, right? It started that. My Suburban is the next generation after that, when they had no, that body style. If we were going 94 Dodge Ram to 2004 when the next body style change happened, or 2003 when the next body style changed, GM didn't have that from 87 to what year would that be? 2000. So the Suburban, my Suburban, first year that had the large center console, and somewhat still not equal to the size of the Ram second gen.
Well,
Ram
and in fairness, the second gen ended right around 2002. The third gen started around then with the kind of ugly double circle headlights and stuff. But I call them ugly, but they did have the SRT-10 in that generation, which was the coolest pickup truck.
But one of those things that if you choose to ever eat in the Ram, you are gifted with a very large tabletop surface.
Yeah.
It's nice. Come in handy.
And in Anthony's particular one, you have that fully rubberized floor, all that.
Rubberized floor, vinyl seating.
Designed.
So while it is designed for that,
mobile,
I mean, let's be honest.
Well, the previous
chow down pad.
Yeah.
The person with the best vehicle design for possibly eating would be Dane's new van.
Oh, yeah, true. I've took a video of us eating in Dane's van driving back.
Yep.
No, for 4 people, I wouldn't say it's cramped with 4 people, but it's tighter. But with 2 people, that's a romantic dinner. That.
You get to face each other.
Yeah, you get to face each other.
You have your own climate control and curtains back there. It's your own world back there.
Yeah. Kirby saying, I feel for Mazzina Cameron. Did you guys announce?
We have not announced yet. We were talking about announcing this Friday. But I think what we'll do is, I was actually looking last year. We didn't announce until February. And it's not that we have to announce at the same time every single year. It's just logistics for this year's prize are different than last year's situation. So we have to make sure that this can work before there's just a lot of moving pieces
to make sure it
works before we can announce it. But just know, I mean, like, the judging is done for 2021. I mean, we're into 2022 now, so we have our ideas of kind of
it's been narrowed down.
Who's in there.
Yeah.
All right.
Kirby Thompson saying, I feel for all the TRC staff having to leave and battle the streets tonight. Stay safe and no metal-to-metal contact on the roads. Have a great weekend. Heading to MTE next week, the slow method.
Oh, man.
Kirby, I will see you there, and very excited to see you and say hello. Scott, do you guys know anything about or planning on selling KCX C002? It's their new coating. We're waiting for it to arrive, so we'll see what happens.
Carbon dioxide.
Graham says, will Waxstock 2022 early bird tickets be available to John Hole? And then Jimmy Moto, looking for a low-cost, high-quality, low-shine interior dressing I can buy in bulk. Used car manager just asked if I could start smearing that crap on his abused cars. Jimmy.
We just talked about this, not on
So the hard
stream,
part right now is that there is a silicone shortage. Yeah. So a lot of your interior dressings are made with silicone. So that's the hard part. We do have Shine-All in stock, and you can put Shine-All. You can cut it 1-to-1. It's a water emulsified dressing. You can use that for those interiors. PNS has a lot of options. Odyssey is another great dressing that you can use, and Natural Finish. So you can get with PNS and see about ordering some larger totes of that. They have all that. So BRIKJV. Best ceramic coating for Boise with the hard water located here as well. And this snow is wild.
Oh, man.
Brick
Oh, man,
JV.
I'm excited to go look now.
Yeah,
Can't
so
wait to see.
Brick, we really like Legend. I think it works awesome. We also love CSL EXO. We think that works great. And any of the Optimum stuff and any of the Modest. And they're all good. They're all good.
Yeah.
David Servant, we have the best kind of perfect temperature for all that. Oh. How would you guys go about negotiating a raise, says David Cervantes. And he also says he eats in his truck sometimes, not often. David, that's kind of a hard one. We may have to take off the air.
Every
with you.
situation is different, so he would need more specifics.
Let's post that one. Let's post that one into the podcast discussion group so we can all help you out with that.
Get a lot of opinions.
Luis, in the previous episode, Juan mentioned that a showcase the TRC products in Morelia, Michoacan. Are the products will be available to buy here in Morelia or just was one-off? Greetings from Morelia. Luis, I don't know what that... there's a showcase happening with TRC products in Morelia Beach. That's a question you're going to want to talk to Juan about. Yeah. Email him at juan@theragcompany.com, and he'll hopefully get back to you. David Cervantes, I also eat my truck. And then Messina, no worries, just curious. Mina Villada says Sydney ? She's not here, but yes,
probably
that is the
tour,
the garage tour you're thinking of. Ragnar rules. Hey TRC crew, what car would you pick for the next TRC project? We don't know. We've still been jumping around.
We threw so many ideas around.
We haven't found a car yet that we all figured out. So
we've been given the green light to technically do another build again. We just don't really know what area we want to jump into, as I think that the hard part that we faced with the WRX is that it really was a perfect example of something to pick up and have fun with and do what we needed to do. The hard part was that it got so nice that we never really got to utilize it in the way that it probably should have been utilized, in the sense that
we had a lot more ideas of where we wanted to take it.
Yeah, we had a lot of ideas, how can we make better videos? How can we make things more exciting? And it didn't really end up happening because we, the areas that we moved fast on the car eventually got to the point where we were like, okay, dang, well, that's it. It's off, right? We didn't get to test everything we wanted to test on the car. We didn't really get to experience too many things. So we had talked about our next vehicle would maybe be something that we could maybe somehow experience more.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of potential there, whether it's a car, a truck, something in between. But
Glenn wants us to do a Jeep. She's like, do a Jeep, do something Jeep related.
Yeah.
We don't know. I don't know anything about Jeeps.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. We're still looking. Graham or John says, we're hoping to have tickets. Early bird tickets to Waxstock available at the start of February.
Ooh.
So those of you going to be going. JB says W4 Citrus Foam recommended milliliters for foam cannon for heavy cleaning. You can always go 3-to-1, right? The max on W4.
Probably
it's pretty good.
Throw a 750 milliliter bottle. You can probably throw a couple hundred milliliters in there if you really wanted to go. If you wanted to. Yeah, bump it up.
Jimmy says, thanks. I'll order some Shine-All from you when I get that TRC newsletter. There you go.
Smart
Graham
guy.
Marshall, that would make a nice birthday present. There you go. And then Ragnar's, what drying aid and O&R products would you recommend for drying off multiple cars after a rain, or products, say in a dealership setting? Wash and Shine is a good one. Epic is a good one, because if after a rain, if they're already been washed off, but they just got rained on and they've got a light dust, I would just use a waterless wash as my drying aid. That's what I would do. So,
Ragnar's, is that a 2+2 in your profile picture there? It looks like a 2+2.
And David says, and sorry about the brief hiatus during the podcast. Talked with my boss for a bit, and will do as soon as the Q&A is over. There you go. Yeah. Thank you. Ryan, have a safe drive home and weekend, guys. Thanks for all you do. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan.
And then John says, we will shout out on the socials when they're good to go.
Nice.
David Cervantes, you guys went stance and speed. How about something larger, such as an SUV or truck?
Oh, the idea has been floated. Don't worry.
Yeah. Scott Dayoff says, do you really need a fridge for your Pepsi products? I mean, that snowball seems to be doing fine without refrigeration.
A puddle is forming.
It is turned into quite a puddle.
Dean touched it. It was fine.
It was fine. And then his hot body.
I'm an energy vampire, and yet
steam sucked out the moisture out of
steam
it.
happening.
Yeah.
Arthur saying, send some of that snow my way to the Windy City.
Have
there you go. And Graham saying, thank you. And then David Cervantes, thanks for being on a consistent level of peace and happiness. I truly love you guys like family. Always love your Q&As. Thanks, David. Thank you for always tuning in.
Seriously.
And we love you too, brother. And then Ragnar's, yes, Dane, 2+2, a good catch.
Hey, yo, I thought so.
Yeah. Well, this has been a lot of fun, Dane.
Yeah, no, it has. I really enjoyed our detours, our conversation.
Dane melted a snowball with his hands.
And I just want to say again, I really appreciate everybody who watches these shows consistently. And for those of you who are new, hopefully this was a fun experience and you want to come back, because we don't want to just give detailing answers to your questions. We want to take it a little further than that, make it something interesting that you actually want to spend time around this place and become part of the family. We love that.
Brick JD, real quick. Yes. I'm hearing a lot of pro detailers say it's not necessary to remove seats when I've always done it. What is your guys' takes? I don't like removing seats. I don't, especially if you're a business. Don't remove them. Now, if it's your own personal car, maybe you bought it like Anthony, you bought it from auction, and you want to pull the seats to clean under the carpets, go for it. I'm not going to stop you. I'm just saying from a business standpoint, do not remove seats for cars.
The liability isn't
too much, especially nowadays with all kinds of sensors and stuff. Just don't do it. There's so many tools that'll get all the way under there to get
one-way bolts are a thing.
David Cervantes said he could use some snow, and Grant Hawtrey says Lowrider TRC project next. We could do that. I think that's a great one. All right, Dane, take us home.
All right, so now that I've said that, guys, once again, gals, once again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. If you're sometime in the future there, hi. And of course, make sure you're subscribed here to the Rag Company YouTube channel. But don't forget, we also have other channels as well. The Rag Company podcast channel, and the Rag Company FAQ YouTube channel, and the Rag Company Espanol for those who have Spanish as a first, second, third, I don't care language. If you just want to hear some Spanish in your detailing videos, head over to the Rag Company Espanol channel. Check that out with Juan. It's a lot of fun. And that's really it, guys. So from all of us here at TRC, wishing you a wonderful weekend. Take care. Stay safe out there if you're here in the storm or somewhere else where there's one. And we will catch you next week on the Rag Company podcast channel. See you then.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.